On today's Poker Life podcast, we're talking with one of the top poker streamers in the entire world and one of podcast favorites, Lex Veldhuis. Guys, what's going on? Poker Life podcast. My name is Joey Gramont, aka Chicago Joey. It's been a great week of podcasts, guys. We had ACR CEO Phil Nagy on to discuss the out-of-line activity on his poker site, and we have a lot more questions and answers after that podcast. We'll see what happens with the developments in that site. I don't recommend playing on the site right now. Yesterday we had on Sean Deeb, and Sean Deeb brought ammunition for days. He brought an entire shotgun loaded with 17 clips, and he was firing away pretty hard. People seem to really enjoy that one too. Last week we had some great ones, including Alex Fox in the top, one of the top GPI tournament player in the entire world. He just got second in another high roller. I don't know how the fuck. This guy's incredible, man. Alex Fox was on the podcast last week as well. Of course, we had Garrett on a few weeks ago, Doug. And in the future coming up here, guys, in May, we're going to be having on some of the best online poker players in the entire world. We've reached out to some high-stakes Nolan Hold'em guys, including we may have the top high-stakes Nolan Hold'em online poker player in the entire world on the podcast coming up here soon. We'll see about that. I know we have Born to Tilt, who's currently a 5100 reg. He'll be on the podcast May 20th. And next Tuesday, May 7th, one of the top, Lex might like this one, one of the top arm wrestlers in the entire world, Devin Larratt, should be joining the podcast. This is literally one of the sickest people I've ever seen in my entire life. Former special forces Canadian military officer turned world champion arm wrestler for left and right hand. He does a lot of work for the arm wrestling. I'm serious. This is the first. He was the first ever left and right hand champion in 2013 or 2012, I believe, for 4 or 5 years. He just had the biggest arm wrestling match of all time against a guy named Denis Saplenko, this absurdly genetically modified Russian guy, and he lost him, unfortunately. But he's coming back stronger than ever. So that's going to be on next Tuesday, May 7th. Yeah, Lex. Wow. We're branching outside of it. But yeah, joining us today, guys, young man, one of my favorite people in the entire poker world, a man I've known for a very long time, one of the hardest working guys probably that I've ever met, honestly, in terms of consistency, in terms of work ethic, in terms of striving to be as great and better as he can, no matter if it's streaming, content, tournaments, poker, person, relationship, whatever it is, man. Guy, very fan favorite on the podcast as well, too. Very fan favorite over on Twitch. GPI award winning vlogger of the year. Just put down his first live event ever, Lex Live. I don't know about the name, not that creative, but it flows off the tongue, Lex Live. It goes well. So we're going to talk more about that as well. I feel like the man is doing a lot of different things, man. We got Lex Veldhuis, Razzie in the house, Mr. 5 Bluffs in a row, 2009 World Series of Poker. What's up, Lex? What's happening, buddy?
Holy shit, the intros, dude. Thank you so much. What up?
Did I hit the intro? I left out 10 things. That could be a 2-minute intro.
It's nice. It's nice. It's good. I like how you go, I don't know if I like the name Lex Live, and then you go, oh, actually rolls off the tongue very nicely. You see?
I thought about this a lot since your name was like Lex Live. I was like, first of all, not that creative, but it just comes out. It sounds so good. Lex Live, Lex Live. You can kind of alter the way that you say the word Lex in different ways and kind of make it fun and stuff like that. So I do enjoy that. Lex Live, man. How's things going, Lex, man? You're a busy man over there, buddy.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Like this year has been last year too. It's been really insane, but it's all good kind of busy, and every week there's something new that seems coming up, or there's a new plan or a new thing happening, or there's stuff happening on Twitch, and Twitch is going well, so lots of exciting stuff.
Lex, so basically for people that don't know on YouTube, which I think most people are going to be familiar with Lex and kind of what you're doing. You're streaming regularly on Twitch. Up to how many viewers are you getting sometimes when you go deep in these tournaments? Because I've seen up to over 10,000 on there a number of different times.
Yeah, I think I would say that like if you look at my average viewer count, so let's not take like the first 3 hours of like going live and whatever, building it up. I would say like my average viewer count every day I'll get to like 6,000 or 7,000. On Sundays I'll get to above 10,000 most Sundays, with peaks upwards of 20. So yeah, I would say like on like really good streams it's between 10 and 20,000.
10 to 20,000 people watching live, huh?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
That's insane, bro. Especially if you think about poker and sort of what the space of poker is like. to have 20,000, 10,000 people tune in every time that you go live, man. That is, and if you go deep, then it even goes up more, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, that is during like hyper streams, right? Or when I get to 20,000, it has to be a deep run. It's not like I fucking randomly whip out 20,000 people because I have 40 big blinds and a big one on 9. Like something special needs to be going on. So it's not. Yeah, it doesn't like I would say that I've gotten this year like 5 or 6 times to 20,000. So it's not that regular, but in the end, it's all about the average anyway, because you can get like some really special viewership or some insane stream, but in the end, it's how many core, how's your core growing, how's that doing, and
Right.
as long as that one is rising, then I'm not too concerned with the outliers. Like records are nice and shit, but if it's not a record, then it's just kind of like an outlier stream.
That's actually the number I've always looked at in terms of how I sort of gauge things, whether it's like an Instagram story number or it's for podcasting. I sort of like to look at how the worst podcasts do. So how the guests that no one knows as much, or maybe it wasn't as entertaining or whatever, for whatever reason, I try to look how that does. And then I try to look on, for Instagram stories specifically, the early numbers, the first 1 to 3 hour mark, because I think those tell you what your hardcore sort of baseline numbers are. And then obviously the outliers in content or outliers in days that you have, there's going to be more people that are going to watch live or that are going to check the story out or that are going to tune into a YouTube video when you have something explosive happen. But when you look at that small base number and try to keep growing that base hardcore number, I think that's a better measure sometimes of how things are going with your content or with direction of what you're doing.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's and it's good. It's good to have a system that you can trust in that way too. Because if you like last week, for instance, not this week but the previous one, it was a little bit slow on Twitch. But then if I'm streaming, I'm like, fuck, I have 3,000 viewers. Normally I would have like 5 or 6. You just start a mind fuck, and that cannot have a positive effect on your content either. So it's really good to just kind of look at some metrics and see how you're growing. And I feel like sometimes people want to create content, and if there's like stagnating growth or they're not doing as well, that it kind of demotivates them. But it should do the opposite, and because otherwise it becomes like a downward spiral, and you should be motivated. And a big thing for me too is I look at how many subscribers I still have. Let's say I have to travel for 3 weeks, or I have vacation time with my fiance or whatever. If I come back after 3-4 weeks, then I see how many subscribers I still have. That is your core as well,
Yeah, I always forget about Twitch that if you take some time off, and it seems like obviously you have the health kind of issues, which we're going to talk a lot more about here as well, but you've been taking a little bit more time off, not going that every day as you were going. So, but you are setting the schedule, which I like. The graphic for the schedule is freaking beautiful. I like that announcement, sort of letting people know ahead of time as well, but also with doing more business opportunities, which go into things like TwitchCon, doing Lex Live. There is a lot more breaks in between. So I would imagine that might hurt the consistent subscriber base if they know that, well, maybe it's a little unpredictable in terms of when Lex might take some time off.
Yeah, and people also, especially on Twitch, because like if they subscribe, there's a notification, there's an animation, everything, right? Like a lot of people like to share that and like to share like a thought that they have or a message they want to say. So a lot of people want to subscribe on screen. So even if I drop to like 1,500 or 2,000 subs from whatever my number was, the first stream back, I'll usually get like 600 subs, just like that, because people want to share and everybody's been holding out.
What's been the results been like for you, Lex, this year so far? We're May 1st right now, 5th month of the year.
Pretty good. It's always weird for me because like there's like a double grind going on for me, and the more I stream, the more I realize that like the stream grind is the more important. Like I sacrifice. I mean I play tournaments without a fucking HUD against unknowns. You know what I mean? And I do that to increase viewer experience, right? Like I'm not some idiot that thinks that it's all I should be able to beat the 530 bounty builder against all these crazy sickos not playing with a HUD, but it's just to create better viewer experience, to be a little bit less focused on the poker, because I wanted people to always know what I base my decisions on. So I also didn't want to hide my HUD. Plus, if I hide my HUD, I'm still going to look at it a lot, which takes me away from the chat, etc. So I always feel like there's a double grind, and I've just decided, and it's still a battle, but I've always decided just stream always goes first. Whatever I decide, like stream goes first, because that's what gives me the most motivation. That's the most gratifying for me, and that's my grind now, right? Like I stream, but it also means like while I'm playing against guys that have fucking study sessions with 30 other sickos and look at every little statistic, and that sounds very alluring to me too, to try and get good that way. But at the same time, it's like, okay, cool, I have 2 off days, I'm flying to the UK to scout locations for Lex Live 2. You know what I mean? So that already there is like GG time to study that week. Or streamers over, all right, now I have to kind of plan and organize all the content, or now I have to talk about this project. So it's weird for me. Like 2018 was possibly my worst poker year, not necessarily in terms of net money lost, because I've had some really bad ones in the past, but yeah. But in terms of like length of downswing, sample, all that stuff, EV, whatever the fuck, like it was a really bad one. But I would still say that 2018 is my most successful year in my life when it comes to career. So that just kind of goes to show, like all the time that I have will go into streaming. Now, if I feel like I'm not performing in a way that I can live with in poker, like when the competitiveness in poker gets triggered, when I'm like, I just want to fucking destroy more guys, or I want to do better, or I want to fight back harder, that's when I'll study, because then I feel like it'll trigger something that will also help me want to stream more and be more excited to go online and battle. So that doesn't happen a lot. I mean, I think in 2018 I put, let's not lie here, like I think I put maybe 20 hours into studying in the whole year, but I've done, I make 80-hour weeks, 70-hour weeks. It's all into Twitch. So, I mean, this year I'm winning. I ran really well in a few like insanely insane fields. Like I won a big one in 9 and the Sunday fucking warm up. That's, you just gotta pull some ridiculous shit to win those. But
isn't that how tournaments work though? You have to win big ones, whether you play well, run well, get there, and when you win these big tournaments, that's gonna skew your results for that sample size.
Yeah, that's true, but still, it's like the guys that crush the hardest crush because they crushed the 2K Sunday High Roller with 80 people and stuff. So
right.
I mean, I'm not playing that because that one I'm not good enough. Like I'm all for sacrificing equity for the stream. Rebuying when I shouldn't, probably playing some tournaments that I definitely don't believe. There's going to be some 2Ks that I definitely don't think I'm going to be a winner in. During Scoop. But I'll play them anyway because it's good to have them on Twitch. But this year's been good so far. I mean, if I can be motivated after what 2018 in poker was and how bad it was, and I can still have the best year of my career, I just figured after that it doesn't matter. Then it's a free roll, right? Whatever happens with poker is a free roll. If it's bad, it could still be my best year ever, and if it's great, I'm gonna swing it to the moon, kind of.
Yeah, I think that when you make the decision, I guess when you're so focused on poker emotionally and you go through those downswings, I cannot imagine then trying to stream on a consistent basis. But if you can get your mindset to the point where, all right, I'm going to prioritize my stream more, understand that my stream is successful, understand that I'm making enough money from streaming, from advertising, from any sort of sponsorships like that can overtake those times from poker. So instead of letting my emotions ride or die, which I know me and you like to do with our poker results, maybe don't be so hard on myself with the poker results. Understand that there's a bigger picture right now. Understand that I have this opportunity with streaming and with my audience and with what I'm doing here, whereas in the past that wasn't the case. So I don't need to be so emotionally high variant as I know that we've both been in the past over our results.
Yeah, completely. That's 2018 was just a big learning experience for me because we started traveling. Me and my fiance started traveling at the end of 2017, and we went to Costa Rica. And
where'd you go?
Costa Rica.
Costa
Rica.
Oh, Costa Rica. Okay, Costa Rica. Okay.
Sorry, I did not. I had to say the American.
I thought you said it a different. I wouldn't show you.
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. Okay.
No. So and all of a sudden I found myself an evening schedule, and I was playing all the most competitive buy-ins and the most competitive fields and stuff, and I really, really wanted to do well, and it was such a battle for me. Like sometimes you would have, let's say you have like 11,000 people and you play a tournament and you final table bubble, but the stream was amazing, everybody was super happy, there was like a lot of nice things happening, that should be a really successful stream. And there's some sessions there where I was just really tilted about the result and just hated what happened. And I got, where you get like, you just feel depressed, right? You're just like, oh, fuck this. No, one of those fucking final table bubbles. I hate this fucking tournament. Like every fucking time this tournament, like it's just not necessary, because of course, like I always, some shit just hurts, some shit's just bad. But sometimes I felt like the show kind of depended on too much me doing well in one of those buy-ins, and it's not. Like it really doesn't. It helps, it's good, but it really doesn't. It's all about like having a fun place for people to hang out, where people can interact in a normal way. You can laugh, you can trash talk in a normal way, all that stuff. Like that's what it's about. And kind of my audience showed me that, and my moderators too. They were like, nobody cares. Actually, when I got back to Europe, a lot of people of my core audience said that they liked me playing the big 1 and 9 better than the 1K thrill, because they said I was more relaxed and it was less like poker competitive. So now it's more like a hangout again.
Yeah, very interesting how things develop over time, because I mean, I'm sure people know you that watch your stream very well, but you one of the most competitive people that I know, man. I mean, you get upset, you lose any hand. That's I think that's what makes you is that you do take things that seriously, and you do put it all on the line in terms of your emotions in a lot of these situations. And as Garrett Adelstein said on a recent podcast, losing fucking hurts, and you are driven to not feel that type of hurt feeling when you do lose. Therefore, you're driven to win that much harder than I think a lot of people out there are. So it's got to be a pretty wild adjustment to kind of put that mentality and mindset to this other side. Even though, I mean, I'm sure it still comes out. You did tell me before the stream that you broke a monitor. Yes, or you punched him. Is the monitor broken, or is it?
No, it's not broken. So no, I'm actually a little bit disappointed it's not broken. I mean, when you really try to punch something and it doesn't break, it makes you more angry. You know what I mean? But that was because of tech trouble. So that wasn't because of poker. That was because my computer crashed and my mic didn't work, my webcam and the video card crashed, and like that shit is, and that's also because of competitiveness, because you build up your audience. The moment I know that a lot of people that watch a lot of streams or browse the internet, they have short attention spans, right? So if my stream is offline, people will click a different one or just like leave. It's not like people wait, oh, he'll be back in 4 minutes, and they're just gonna sit down there and do nothing. It's just not the way it works. So I was just tilted, but the competitiveness definitely. I still have that too. I can like my emotions swing during poker, but it's always been that way, right? Like we talked about it in the past too, you and me, where I say like, poker or anger is a good tool to see what's wrong with your game, or at least to vent or whatever, if you use it the right way. It doesn't have to be a bad emotion. And I definitely don't want to be like, I don't aspire to be a fucking guy that just doesn't feel anything, right? Like I don't need to either. Like you don't need to do that in order to be good at something, Like people that say, "Oh, you have to be able to shut down your emotions." That can work for some people. It can also not work for other people. And the difference between Twitch and the regular poker grind too is like, when people record YouTube, they do interviews, they play poker on TV, which is a big one, right? Because I never respond or react to anything happening when I'm playing on TV, or when I used to play on TV. But Twitch is different. Twitch is a video camera in the attic where a guy is grinding high stakes online poker. And you're not going to tell me that any of these fucking high stakes regulars don't rage or say, always this fucking guy or whatever. That's just the way it is. That's what people do, It just happens. I mean, Patrick Antoni's has thrown his mice through a window, his mouse, It's like, he's done that shit like too. And nobody would expect that, Immediately I think of like Phil Gelfand. He might be like the outlier, but there's no way. Like everybody gets frustrated and stuff, but yeah, it's competitiveness is important, and I just put it into streaming most of the time now, just like trying to battle there.
And it seems like that battle is going very well.
It is.
Yeah, I know. Like there's this camaraderie among Twitch streamers, but at the same time, I know there's very competitive. People want to stream. They don't want to stream when Lex is there, because Lex takes over the lobby. So they're like, when's Lex not streaming? Let me coordinate my Twitch attack around Lex's time schedule and stuff like that. So there is this, like I said, the camaraderie, but at the same time, people do want to become the top streamer on Twitch if they can. But it seems like you got a little stranglehold on that position right now.
Yeah, but it's also like, it's kind of like a free economy in a way, right? Like, I mean, it's just smart. If you wanna get your name out there, if you want to grow or whatever, it's probably smart to not do it when the biggest guy is streaming, if you can choose, you know. And in terms of, you know, like Twitch streamers hanging out and talking to each other and wishing each other the best, but also trying to crush each other while streaming in the directory, that's just like a direct parallel to what poker players do when they register a tournament, right? Or when they play cash games. You know, if you know, I played the cleaner heads up a lot. I would always challenge him to heads up whenever I was like awake for a very long time.
Always smart.
And I didn't have any action. And then the fucking cleaner, you know, he comes and he's just like this, and he sits down and he showers and he has his breakfast and he looked at all his fucking things and everything is in order. And then you have like a tweaked out me sitting there after 50 hours, like, hey, motherfucker, you want to play heads up? And then him going, yeah, sure. You know, I mean, you know, there's in the end, if a friend of you loses a lot in poker, that in a live cash game and you're playing at the table, you could be happy to win, but you could also, like, you know, want him to do well in general. So it's the same thing. Like, yeah, I do really want to crush everybody. Like, if somebody gets close to me or whatever, or if they get more viewers than normal and my viewers are like worse than normal, I don't think, hey, good for that guy. You know, I'm like, this motherfucker, you know, I need to really try and stomp him, or, you know, it's just, I don't know. Maybe that's not normal, but that's the way I feel it. I don't know. It only seems logical to me anyway. Like, if you do something, you might as well do it as best as you can, or try to be as successful as you are could be.
It's actually an interesting thing I've been thinking about a lot. 2018, the idea of putting your all into something, and why do we put our all? Why does everything have to be more and more and more and more? And why is the only approach that we should have to be better than everyone else at what we do, sort of thing like that? And because I think that's the way I've always gone about whatever I did, was more of a competitive thing against myself, but trying to be better every day. But this obsession with being better, I felt like had me neglecting what I currently was able to do, or the point I'm at right now. So I've been trying to, I guess, balance that out a little bit more and not be so obsessed with, all right, what's next, and try to take more enjoyment out of, I guess, what's currently right now.
Yeah, but that's been massive for me too. I was always just like so neurotic about my schedule too. It's just my friends would go do something fun, or Mirta would say something like, "Hey, let's go see that on Friday." And it's like, I can't. I stream on Friday. She's like, so skip one. I was like, you don't fucking get it. I can't skip one. And I would always be like that, and I would always just take everything for granted too. Like, oh, cool, we had some success. Whatever. What's the next step? Like, what's the next thing we can do? What's the next thing we can improve? And I would always be thinking like that. And I mean, that's what really also got me burned out. I would just not stop, and I would just not. And it's too intense, and I wasn't used to it, because I've always kind of just like fucked myself into a hole where I really like to go hard, and I kind of enjoy that feeling too. I feel like that's also a trait that a lot of PLO players have. If you don't appreciate the pain, sometimes you can't be a PLO player. It's like you have to sometimes think, oh, this fucking game, and but I feel like it's different, like, especially now that there's a camera on. The camera just adds so much tiredness, pressure, expectations, everything. So it's but you need to take a step back, and you need to sometimes just like trust the process, trust the quality. And what's been most interesting, and what I've learned the most, is like, if you go really hard and sometimes you feel like you need to take time off, which feels like a sacrifice. I thought I was like cheating my routine, but you're not. You're actually, it should be part of your routine, because your routine is not what you do this week. Your routine is what you do over the next 4 or 5 years. And if I want to be streaming over the next 4 or 5 years, that means that the week before Scoop, I will not stream, because otherwise I'm just get fucked in the head. And there will be a point where I don't have the bounce back anymore to come back from it, or the longevity. So if you look at it from that perspective, the week before Scoop, taking it off is actually part of my job. And that made me realize that it's much easier to step away from that and to have a little bit more chill with myself, and it's been going a lot better since then.
I love how it took both of us till we're in our 30s to figure that out, Lex. Because I just figured that out this. I was like, wait. So tell me, if I take some breaks in between these heavy grinds, that my grind's going to be more effective. Whereas in the past, I saw it the same way. Like, oh my God, I'm missing a day of whatever. Like, how much am I setting myself back? When in reality, I was probably setting myself back in some ways, but at the same time, maybe gained some unique ability to just consistently push through whatever. But yeah, I mean, no days off was always like a motto sort of thing like that too. And I guess maybe do you think this is a maturation, just sort of, I guess, having more on our mind that we want to do and focused on, that we realize that, hey, we can't go this hard and be efficient every day, or maybe there's more accountability with an audience or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, you say like it took us a while to learn, but I think it's a lesson other people still haven't learned.
Right.
At least we put ourselves through that, and you know exactly your limitations, and you know what you can handle, and you know you can go harder, and just learning. So now it's not like you learned one skill; you actually learned two. You learned how to go all the way, and you also learned how to pull it back. So other people just know how to pull it back or rein it in, but they don't even know if they're at 40% of their ability or at 80%, right? So I do think I don't look at it as lost time. I think it's still very valuable to have gone through that. And I think it's just a constant kind of adjustment, you're realigning. And like, I mean, it sucks, but like getting older is part of that too, it's just like, it's weird. It's just weird. Like I also feel like I'm depleting the batteries. Like when you're born, your batteries are at 100%. Like I feel like my batteries are sometimes like an old iPhone. They just don't charge that well anymore, because I just fucked it a little bit too hard. But I think I'm still in decent shape. But it's no, I think it's valuable. Yeah.
So I've joined the gray hair movement that from that PLO gave us, right?
Oh shit!
I don't know if we can see it as much here right now, but
no, I think that's actually the reason why you cut it.
Oh no, 100% is the reason why I cut it, for sure. No, plus I hate doing my hair. I started wearing a hat because my hair got so long, and then I grew to start loving a hat. But yeah, definitely one of the reasons why I cut it. The gray was like super noted, but I think I was getting gray hair when I was, occasionally when I was late 20s, just because I don't know genetics, obviously, but when you're ready to live or die every single day for many, many years playing online poker, how can your hair not go gray? I mean, every single day you're up here, you're down here, depending on your results for the day.
Yeah, no, it's definitely exhausting, but I don't know. I think staying awake for long periods of time hasn't helped me either. Yeah, that can be good too, but whatever. I still like it. I really like it. Like I like having. I often think about those days, and I think I get very happy. And I think about it, and you just remember like how miserable you felt, and like fucking sitting there, chain smoking.
What?
Even now, like I just feel like, oh, that would be good to do that again.
Where do you think that comes from?
I don't know. It's just an experience. It's just putting yourself out there. It's just it definitely taught me a lot, and I'm proud of it too to have done it. Like how many, it's just like to go at the grind that hard. It's not easy, It's not just a question of like staying awake and doing it or whatever. It's just like I don't know. I'm proud of the fact that I had that drive and that intrinsic motivation when I was 22 years old. That's just like yeah, I'm happy with that.
I sometimes think now what could be a new challenge, because I know I've done some crazy challenge in the past. You've certainly done ridiculous things in the past too. And I start thinking how much you gain just self-confidence wise and experience wise and belief wise in yourself doing things like that and really pushing yourself to a limit that not many people can go to. And then I start thinking now what the value in that was so high, what could I do to recreate that sort of thing like that? Whether it's you've done fighting in the past, we could say you pushed yourself to that point to learn how to fight at a high level to not get your ass kicked there. And that's something that's stuck with you for the rest of your entire life. Mm-hmm. So when you think about that idea of maybe setting some sort of extreme challenge that you can then put your, you got your all, but then you go past that a couple notches there. Do you sometimes think that maybe there's something that I might come up with that could be that extreme challenge grind for me? Or do you feel like where you're at now and what you're doing now is challenging enough for you?
Yeah, I just think it's like more, I think as I got older, I started more of looking at it like a long term, I was like, okay, I've done all these crazy things and I've done all these like micro crazy things or like short ones that stand out for me or whatever that were valuable or just stupid or, just experiences. But like right now, which is kind of like, okay, now we need the payoff from that, right? So whenever I have a crazy goal or crazy grind in mind, that's streaming. Like streaming is insanely hard, just to do consistently. It's draining. The average shelf life of somebody who streams or does a lot of YouTube is 2.5 years. People don't get beyond that. So, it's so that to me is what I'm doing now. And yeah, sometimes I feel like, oh, I wish I could do like a fitness challenge, or maybe there's a cool way to tie into, the UFC and Stars thing, or and I get propositions for that too. But it's just I feel like streaming what I should be enough. It's enough, and it's intense enough, and I definitely get the same satisfaction out of grinding it as well.
Yeah, what do you think about the UFC and PokerStars deal that they have going on?
I think it's great. I mean, I think for me it ties two things together. So I love watching UFC. I talk about it to my chat all the time. I love watching it. I used to watch even UFC 2 and 3 and whatever with Hoist Gracie and all
90s.
those guys. Yeah, and I watched a lot of the Pride stuff, and then I kind of got disconnected from sports in general. I think I didn't watch any tennis, football, and I didn't stop watching UFC, and I really reconnected with it. I would say like actually when we started traveling, because then it was at like 7 p.m. in the evening, and we started watching it, and my fiance got into it, and now she watches it here with me too. So now I just watch it whenever I wake up on a Sunday, and it's the day after, and I just watch it. So to me, it's amazing. It's easy, so I like it, and I think it's. I honestly think that MMA is just one of the most admirable sports out there, and the people fighting MMA are some of the most conditioned human beings alive. And with the fast growth and stuff, it's cool to have a presence there.
Yeah, I think it's awesome for anything poker related to be involved with UFC. UFC is a growing and growing and growing company, very innovative with their marketing ideas, the way that they promote their fights, their products, the way that they structure the tiers of cards as well and put different levels of promotion behind each one is incredible. I think it's a model that anyone who's trying to get better at marketing themselves or their business or whatever can look at. And it's just growing, man. ESPN, they got the ESPN deal launched in January as well, too. I think the PokerStars deal was announced a little before January as well. So far, we've seen it manifest itself with in-ring ads, and then sometimes they'll do reads before fights, and then sometimes they'll talk about it on the broadcast as well. And then there's been some cross promotion with the knockout sort of tournaments like that and stuff like that, I believe, knockout stuff like that. So I don't really know how we gauge how much that does help out poker in general, because while it does promote PokerStars, it also promotes the game of poker itself, because the UFC is a heavily male demographic all around the world, not just in the United States. So the more that they're exposed to the word of poker, I think that can only do positive things to at least get their mind thinking that, hey, I do want to play some poker, or I want to learn more about poker, or kind of get them sent down the poker route.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's almost like muscle memory, right? Like it used to be part of people's systems in the States and stuff, and people used to just be able to play poker, and people kind of forgot. And like random Joe down the street doesn't know what happened or why, what for whatever reason poker's not there anymore. I noticed it on TwitchCon when there was a PokerStars booth, and people would be like, "Holy shit, I used to play there." I don't know why not, or so just getting that name out there again, I think is super strong. And also, I mean, everybody wants to go towards a future where there's legislated poker in the States, and working with strong brands that operate in America is going to be very good if you want to get that shit done. And I think that I think in general it's just smart. I think it's a really good win for poker to be tied to such a strong and rising brand like that. So I mean, same for me with esports. Like anything that poker can do with esports is amazing as well. So because it's just so fast growing, it's so popular. It's people also with the same. For some reason, gamers really love watching fighting too. It's that competition or that 1v1.
My theory: men just love fighting in general, Lex. I think because after I made a couple of these fight videos, even women came up to me I went to run up Reno. The two most popular things people said to me first was, "I loved your fight breakdown. Oh my god, like the UFC video, the guy in the casino." Like I was like. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, well, first of all, it's a little sad in some ways that this is the content that you would associate me with. But then they said the Garrett podcast, because Garrett Adelstein came on. He dropped a lot of knowledge, talked about mental health, and that's something we're going to get into as well. So that made me feel a little better. But something about fights, bro. I mean, you've been involved in a fight. You know what it's like to be in the fight. You obviously love the fights too. It's just, what do you think it is that people, men, women, just are so gravitated towards a fight, whether it's an amateur level or at a professional level?
I don't know. It's like gladiators, right? It's just in the end, it's just people. It's so pure. That's what it is. It's really pure. It's like even. It's I don't know. I just think it's, man, it's incredible. What's a book called? It's Why Some Men Love Fighting and Others Like to Watch It or something. It's a really like known fighting book, and it's just interesting to see who's going to win. It's like a reality show, but then with violence, it's just, but it's controlled violence, and that's nice because regular fighting absolutely fucking sucks. Like I've been in some, street fights, I've gotten beaten up and whatever, and that shit really sucks. Like that's just, when people start fighting in a bar, it's the fucking worst. It's just useless. But professional fighting, man, people who are trained to try and dominate physically. And you see like these like fucking Habib, like how can somebody just be born like that? Just some fucking bear from Dagestan, and just, I don't know. It's yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting question because for me, I could be like, oh, I like sports and it's competitive, and but I love the explosiveness, and it's so harsh, it's so insane. Have you been to like live UFC or anything?
No, I haven't. No.
It's when, and I'm not saying like sometimes it sucks, but because the like that's what Jason Somerville always says, something like the best seat in the house is pay-per-view or something. But especially during kickboxing too, when you see somebody get knocked out live, your brain kind of corresponds, like your brain knows that it's not okay what's happening. When you see it, you feel sick, like you feel like the shiver go through your body, and you just see people go like it's just crazy. It's just like the fact that two people are willing to go so far in some form of sport. It's just like one of the most intense things, because if you're a mountain climber, then the mountain the mountain is the one to beat. Or if you go cycling, it's against somebody else, or it's all like really insane, intense sports. But now it's another person just staring you down, right? It's like you walk in the street, and the only way is forward, and there's one big motherfucker standing at the end of it, and you need to like get through that. And then people want to see who gets through it. It's just, yeah, fighting is incredible.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the direction UFC goes, if there's going to be more sort of crossover in terms of maybe some fighters playing poker in some capacity or anything like that too. So we kind of haven't seen anything new develop yet with the deal for the most part. So I'm kind of curious exactly where the direction will lead between PokerStars and UFC.
Yeah, I mean, it's a free roll in the end. It's it can only be good. Even if you look at it in this capacity, it's good. So, but of course, there's stuff coming as well.
Maybe I need to go back. I don't think we've actually officially talked about my slight the week where I quit poker content and became a UFC professional content creator at all. But that video just hit 12 million views yesterday. So happy to be back in poker, baby. Happy to be committing myself to poker. Listen, do I want 12 million people watching all my videos, Lex? No, I don't. Why would I? Why would I?
That's good. You're carrying the torch too. You're getting all these people that normally watch fighting now to see like poker updates, and they think, what's going on here?
So Lex, here's my thing. I checked the subscribers I gained from that one video. I gained 17,000 YouTube subscribers from one fucking video. 17,000 from one video on analytics. You can check it. I have close to 80,000 right now. So I was wondering, I was like, first of all, I think that really hurts me because okay, I haven't thought about this actually. Do you think a lot of those people actually stay and watch poker stuff? Because I don't think so. I think they turn into dead subscribers and they're just gone. And
maybe if it's like highlighted content, but to just hear like two dudes they don't know talk about poker, I don't think so.
That's what I'm thinking too. I think maybe it does more harm than good for the overall channel and stuff like that too.
No, I don't see how it can do harm. I mean, there's always some conversion, right?
Yeah, good point. I guess I never thought of. I always think that if I did more content outside of poker, that it would sort of segregate my channel too much, and that it wouldn't actually convert that many people. But if I do content that is mainly for males, then maybe some of those males will convert over to poker because males are. I mean, my audience 97% dudes, so it's like if I'm going after women, I doubt I'm going to get many women to come over and pay attention to poker at all, care about poker at all. Whereas I feel like guys are more going to be interested in gambling and that sort of thing like that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also the other way around. It's a free roll because even though you step outside and it's like something completely not poker related, the UFC is what 95% of poker players still like. So your core audience will still like that video, even though you branch out. So,
Maybe I should get it. Maybe I should pop another UFC vid through. There's the one vid I want to do is John Jones. Like, I know there's been videos done on John Jones and sort of like talked about his career, but I know I can do it at a very high level because I followed it very closely. So just talk about the rise and fall, the brawls with Cormier behind the scenes, the on-camera stuff, sort of how his narrative has changed publicly over time and how still some define him as debatably the best fighter of all time, and sort of where that road leads to if we will see a rematch between the two of those at some point.
I mean, that's smart. Even if you do, you should have that ready to see if this fight's going to happen within like the next, if it's going to happen, it has to be within the next 2 fights of Cormier or something, but you can always have it ready and then pop it out. And if not, you can just still make it kind of like the history of John Jones kind of video.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I love doing those, like this sort of deep dive investigations on people. And in poker, unfortunately, there's not that much public information available on a lot of the people, unless it's Patrick or Gus or Phil Ivey or anything like that. Whereas in other sports, there's so much documented material, including written articles, podcasts they've been on, interviews they've been on, videos of people talking about them, and then many videos of them in action, that in terms of creating some sort of content about them, it just becomes that much easier to do. Like Phil Hellmuth, for example, he's a great one in poker because he has content that goes back to the 90s, and he's also done so many interviews, and he's got all those crazy segments like the toilet paper one. You see that meditation video?
I don't
even toilet paper by the bed. I mean, ESPN, Lex, if ESPN's coming to your house, are you going to keep the toilet paper by your bed, or are you going to put the toilet paper in the bathroom?
Yeah, I know. It's yeah. I don't know. Let's okay. Back to the UFC stuff.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I don't know. I'm not sure. But
wouldn't it be good for you to maybe try like pick a topic that you really like or something, or do and really try to make a documentary once? Just do it once, see how you like it, because I think you would really love to do that.
Yeah, I think I would love to do that too. I like intensive things that you can spend hours on and kind of get lost in.
Yeah, just like tell a story or whatever, and like especially if you like to get lost in the research and stuff, that seems really cool, because I think that's I mean that's one of the strengths of your podcast too, right? Is because you really look into it, right? If you talk to somebody, you really check them out and you come up with facts that make people feel comfortable, because it's kind of like a respect thing, right? Like when you do I had an interview earlier today and somebody said something and it was very clear that she went very deep to find that fact and talk about it, and it immediately settles you down. And it's also sort of like respect to really give it all the time and attention or something, like I don't know, might be good.
What do you think, documentary Lex Veldhuis?
Well,
listen, I think it needs to be told, to be honest with you, brother, because I think a lot of people are completely unaware of your history, man. I think a lot of your new audience, they come in, they see this Twitch streamer Lex. They don't know much about pre-2008 Lex, or they don't know much about Potlum and Omaha Lex. They don't know much about these. You have different points of your life that it'd be impossible for the people to really know, because there isn't really that documentary thing about you out there, and there's really, you know what I'm saying? So maybe that could be the thing.
It's too I don't know. It's too X-rated as well. We recorded some stuff with Stars once too, and I'd agree with them. It was just too much. Like
X-rated? What were you doing in the video?
No, it's like I don't know if X-rated is the right word. Is X-rated only for like porn or something, or is X-rated just stuff you don't want to, like, you can't really show or talk about? It's just so many like too crazy stories that are too crazy. Stories that I also, a lot of the stuff, like a lot of like really important experiences to me, the way it happened or what happened, or like that. One big period of my life was just playing a home game against like all these fucking crazy guys in an underground game, and like those stories I can never tell. So then, if I can't tell those stories, then why tell a story at all? Because those are like such big moments in it. So, and there's like a million things like that I either don't want to tell or don't want people to know or whatever. It's just too much, It's just like, it's just too much. So I don't know if that one's ever gonna happen.
That sounds great right here. I'm liking this story idea. We might make this happen.
Make me an offer.
The out-of-line stories of Lex Veldhuis, Razzie. Imagine being stuck in an underground dungeon for 75 hours playing high-stakes poker where your life's on the line and you're going to die if you don't win in that game. That's where Lex has been, my friends. That's where Lex has been, man. But yeah, guys, we got a lot of people watching on YouTube, on Twitch. Shout out to everybody out there who's been tuning into the podcast. Been going strong. Lex, I want to talk about an important thing a lot of people bring it up, and that is people leaving PokerStars. Lex, a lot of the Twitch streamers, a lot of the fellow PokerStars team members, they got a better offer, Lex. They turned their back on the PokerStars. They've gone over to PartyPoker. Kevin Martin just announced his transformation over there today. You're one of the guys left, my friend. Obviously, we got some other guys left, but you're one of the main guys left here, Lex. And what are kind of your thoughts on this? What's the word I'm looking for? What's the word when they leave? They go away. Fuck, I can't think of the word I'm looking for here. But what's migration away? It's not the word, but what do you think about this, man?
Yeah, I think it's first of all, I think it's really awesome that there's like more people noticing the Twitch space. You know, you just see like more eyes towards it. You just notice it when talking to companies too. First off, also like, you know, internally, I mean, what?
Exodus. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for.
You know, Stars was a pretty early adapter with Twitch, and they've been doing this stuff for like 3 or 4 years, and even internally there, you see more and more people like turning their eyes towards it. The meetings that are happening now are like completely different than what they were like 3 years ago when it came to Twitch, and it's been like that for a while. And it's to me, honestly, I'm happy that, you know, there's more people in the Twitch space signing people. It also means that like more talent's getting signed, right? Because there's more people trying to get like a stable of ambassadors representing them. But in the end, I don't think there's like something massive going on. It's just like, oh, there's another company investing resources, and you know, it's also like the people that left were also pretty tight together. You know, they've kind of come up to Twitch. They've also been cooperating on a lot of stuff. So it's just a lot of people that liked working together anyway, that kind of wanted a new home. And I also feel like part of the reason is that, you know, these guys have been streaming for a long time. I feel like a lot of them wanted a new challenge, wanted to change things up. It kind of, you know, reignites the passion, gives new opportunities. You know, that's what Jamie talked about as well, where he said, like, you know, I just feel like it brings me new opportunities. It puts me in a new role. You know, I just think I kind of hit my ceiling where I'm at right now. I just need to change it up. And but you know, it's good. I like shuffles like this. It triggers a lot of competitiveness. It also, you know, it's funny. It's like kind of like the Game of Thrones thing, right? Chaos is a ladder. So if you trust your quality and you trust your content and you trust where you are, you know, then anything that shakes up a scene is good. And I think it's good in general. And at the same time, you know, it's today Stars announced like signing like nine or 12 new streamers,
8 or 9, including my boy Arlie Shibahan. Shout out to Arlie, working hard.
I mean, it's you know, Arlie Shaban, who of course now is like a household streamer. He's always pulling solid numbers, and he's really like earned his own spot. And the OP Poker guys got signed, and you know, also what I really like about all of this happening is small streamers getting signed too, because I feel that a big way, if you're trying to like build a platform, and you kind of look at it as a pyramid, right? If you look at it in terms of like numbers or who's on top, who's trying to like climb it below. If you kind of push the pyramid up, that's good for the directory. Like it makes it deeper, it makes it more wide, it gets more noticed on Twitch. The numbers will go up. You know, it's much easier for people from Hearthstone to venture out into the poker directory when there's more viewers there, and more people getting empowered and more people getting helped by how to grow their stream and how to do social media and how to do all that shit and repurpose your content only makes it better. So, I mean, the more the better for me, honestly. And I mean, even like, you know, there's 3 streamers that got signed today: the Pleb Method, Pieface Poker, and GJ Reggie. They have like 5 to 40 streamers and sometimes more, but that's like mostly where they're at. You know, 5 to 40 viewers. I'm sorry. So, like people like that getting signed and getting the whole infrastructure done and stuff. I mean, that's amazing, and that's all, you know, also part of this whole kind of like shuffle. So I'm all for it. Like when people are like, oh my, I mean, at this point, it's kind of like, oh, somebody's like, oh, I'm gonna leave, and then people are like, oh, you know, when Kevin got announced there, everybody was like, yeah, no shit. I mean, it doesn't make it any less exciting for him, you know. I'm not trying to take away from that, but I think at this point it's kind of clear that there's like nothing going on. There's just people going from one team to the other, and just, you know, it's like kind of new sports season.
Yep, new sports season. Rob Young, come on in. How much you guys want? How much you need to go over in PokerStars? Okay, come on over. And the streamers, you know, I mean, I understand it. I understand. I think it's funny in some ways because, PokerStars helped to build these guys up so much. And I feel like PokerStars did do a lot for a lot of these guys. And the first offer comes through, they're like, peace, like, I'm out of here. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of find it. I just find it, find it interesting whether I do it or not, or shouldn't do it or not, better offer or not, more opportunity or not. We could debate those things like that. I just find it funny that the first chance they got, they're like, okay, fuck you guys, I'm out of here, going over there. So it just seems like, I think Stars did a lot for, we could obviously, get into the other things related to PokerStars as well. But I did think that they did a lot for a lot of those streamers to help build them into the platform that they're in. And I don't know if they're going to get those same opportunities at Party Poker, but at the same time, that is a new challenge for them that they get to have, and we'll see how they do with it.
Yeah, it's also kind of like it becomes a little bit more of like a blank canvas or something, I guess, because that's what Jamie and Jeff, they're going to be organizing the team or running that, I believe, what they said. But I don't know. Continuity for me is very important, and like I said, like Stars has been on Twitch for like 3 or 4 years. There's so much know-how in the company, and the way everybody knows how to approach the platform and willingness to do stuff with it, that for me is very important. So it's yeah. I mean, I'm absolutely happy where I'm at. If that's
you have no intention to leave anytime soon, or join the bandwagon as well?
No.
I'm sure PokerStars gonna be happy here. Shout out to my man Scott at PokerStars.
Yeah, Scott.
I'm sure he's happy. Sure he's happy. Lex isn't leaving. Please don't leave.
Well, I mean, you're at the PSPC. You met a lot of the people that are involved with Twitch. Like Mel, Scott, Eric, like all, like you can genuinely tell that when you talk to them that they're super excited. There's TVs with Twitch on all day long. Like them scouting, doing different stuff. Typing comments in the chat and stuff. They're super involved. It's really cool.
I could see Scott having a little troll account out there. He's probably got a few accounts. One he trolls on sometimes. One he, but yeah, PSPC. I talked to you a little bit down there. That was obviously a beautiful event. I thought they left a little early. The PSPC ended, and then PokerStars was like, "Peace, we're out of here." During the main event, like they kind of just forgot the main event was going on. But overall, what an experience down there, man. All the fans down there, and that just kind of seeing people play at 25K that never played at 25K before was kind of an incredible experience to see all the people congregated there from all over the world who this was their one big moment in poker that they might ever have, sort of thing like that.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's special. Like the tournament room had a different glow. It's cool. It's like a good reason to highlight a lot of different random stories, or people. Also, like the ones that you're responsible for with Randall. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Jeremy.
Sorry.
Jeremy.
Yeah. Sorry. With him too. Like that sort of shit is that's amazing. And like I had a guy qualified through my channel, Benjamin Alvarado. It's amazing. Just like everybody that he met at the PSPC, like he got knocked out, and a dealer got emotional because he got knocked out because the guy had such a nice story, and I mean, it goes a long way. It's
actually, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Wait, where? I had it back here. He gave me this this thing I've been keeping in my office to ward away the bad luck.
Wait, is it?
Yeah, it's something similar, but no, this is
exactly
the red figurine, man. I don't have it right now, but man, he's a super nice guy, man. Him and his girl. He proposed to his girl down there too. Cameras were on him. That was awesome, man. That was a lot of fun. It was very nice to meet him and meet his now fiance too, and get their story as well. Those guys were cool. What people want to know what you think about these tournament changes, Lex, on PokerStars. I don't know much about these. I'm told that rewards are either cut or rakes either raised or something of that nature. What's what's kind of your takeaway from your thoughts on that sort of thing?
Which one specifically?
I believe one of the guys in the chat on Twitter mentioned changes in January.
Oh yeah. It's it's hard because obviously they're I don't like whenever if there's a rake change, I think okay, that sucks, of course, when you're grinding poker. And I think what the hardest part about it is that the stuff that comes back from it, it's not like this, right? I mean, on top of all the things that we've covered a lot in the past, and where you talked to like Daniel about and stuff, apart from the fact that you're like a company and trying to make money and you have a position and you have shareholders who bought a company who now have to make that money back. Like all that stuff has been like said and repeated, right?
Right.
But one big thing that's really tough in situations like that is that it's not like, oh, I have money, cool, and you just like put it there. Now I'm gonna cut that in half. I'm gonna put that there. There's a lot of things playing around there that you just don't see. Working with governments, like countries getting legislated, people, countries getting poker licensing, all that sort of thing. Like that's all happening because you allocate resources to that, or you think it's important because it's important to grow the game, or the PSPC happening, where you just dump like 10 million into the poker industry. All that stuff costs a lot of money and is very important, and it all fits into that bigger picture of we need to grow poker. And do some cuts happen because we want to make more money? Yes, of course. But in the end, I truly believe that the things that are being done that are not visual, that are not like, oh, hey, cool, you grind a lot of poker, here's the money, here's some money back. Like, I truly do not believe that that's going to help poker in any way. Does that mean a customer might feel less appreciated than they did before? Of course, I understand that. But the picture is so much broader than that, Like the stuff like Lex Live, resources get allocated to that, towards helping that, towards people helping managing the projects, or to people help me manage all kinds of stuff in terms of managing the event, getting people there, supplying know-how. That stuff in the end all is really important to help build poker and stuff. So if you look at it from like, oh, I play poker and Rake gets cut for MTTs, yes, I understand that hurts your bottom line, but it does come back somewhere else, And I think that if you look at the people that are investing actively into marketing, doing promotions, the UFC stuff, spending money on that kind of stuff, then like Stars is like the only one doing that on a big scale. So that money does come back, and it does fit again. Like, oh, let's explore new avenues, let's do new stuff, and let's make sure that we make a government understand and work with them and supply know-how that they actually know that it's better to, for instance, combine Spain, Portugal, Italy, France, all that stuff. Like those countries coming together, that's a lot, because there's working with governments and stuff, and they're the only ones doing that. So if you ask me, what do you feel about the MTT cuts and rigs? I mean, that answer is so much broader. Mm-hmm. And it's easy for me to see, and I understand it's hard to see sometimes, and some people will completely disagree with me, but I see like the empowerment and the investment in the platform like Twitch, and I think that Twitch is going to be massive when it comes to getting new people to it, growing it, because it's like the easiest way for people to just walk into poker, right? It's almost easier than YouTube even. And then there are extensions being made, that all that stuff costs a lot of money. So it's just a repurpose of the investment. And yeah, I mean, so like I said, it's a much broader issue than just like, what is this immediately gonna do for, no, I mean, it's brokering deals with UFC, it's working with governments, it's investing in Twitch, it's supplying know-how with campaigns, it's having a massive fucking legal team to sort out all those licenses and work on that. And then it's like, oh, cool, oh, this is cool, these countries combine forces again. Like that stuff doesn't happen magically, you know what I mean? Like a lot of time and effort goes into that, and I feel like that stuff gets overlooked, and logically so, because it's not something that you constantly are gonna be talking about, right? It's not like, oh, hey, here's what we did exactly there, and we talked to this guy and we put out like a whole presentation to this government and worked with them and made things better there. But it's easier for me to see because I'm part of the company and I'm part of some of those conversations, and I see the direct result of what it does when they invest in Twitch and in the platform and all that stuff. And like people say, like, oh, Lex said if he saw something he didn't like, he would leave. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And some stuff sucks, and some stuff is because you're a company. And people say, well, Stars is such a big market share and they do certain things. People say because they can get away with that, but at the same time, they're also assuming their responsibility for being market leader and investing in marketing. And like nobody's doing that.
Yeah, it seems like PokerStars' stance, and kind of from what you just said, is that they put a more of a priority on bringing in new players to the game and expanding the game rather than allowing players to win on the site. Because if they're cutting this rake, obviously there's going to be less winners in the scenario, and more money is going to the company because more money is then going out to these other things in order to grow the game.
Yeah.
I think obviously you can see why a lot of winning players are going to be very upset about that, because this is how they are making a living as well too. So you have PokerStars making a living. That. You have them trying to grow poker. You also have the professional poker players who this isn't what they want to hear. You know, they don't want to hear that winners are being you know, removed from PokerStars more and more with each change that they make. So I think that's where a lot of the backlash kind of is, and the idea that yeah, I mean, people aren't happy about that, man. You know, you can do you get that vibe, or do you get that impression from people when you talk to them? Obviously, maybe recreational players who aren't reliant on poker to make a living, they might not care or might not notice it or might not know about it. But of course, people that have been playing a long time notice this very well, because this cuts in their bottom line and they need to go find somewhere else to play or something else to do if they want to continue to be a professional poker player.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, I understand that, like, you know, that grinders feel that way, and I like with some of them, I have normal conversations. There's also people that I've been like good with that know and, you know, respect me with like dealings that I have with them and stuff. And now it's just like, hey, and I just don't say anything or whatever, you know. And then I'm like, dude, it's weird. How do I say this? Like, I feel like there's a certain, if you look at responsibility too, like I feel that some of the grinders do really good. They're part of the conversation. They're trying to fix it. They're doing good stuff as well. And there's others who just don't do anything except this. Like, where's more? Where's my fucking money or whatever? Where's this? Where's that? Like, what are you doing individually? You know what I mean? Like, are you, because if you tried a little bit more or helped a little bit more or did a little bit more this or invest a little bit more and shit, like made your 25K tournament win a little bit more meaningful by posting something about it, then you would help poker as well and like kind of participate in the growth. You know, I feel like I understand people being disgruntled, but if there's hate, I mean, don't fucking play there then. And that's it, right? That should be the end of the story. Like it's sometimes it's really that easy. And of course there's a massive gray area too. And it's like, I'm like, don't get me wrong, like I'm super respectful of somebody's bottom line changing, also to a point where you need to consider doing something else or it changes. But you know, it's like poker is giving you so much and it just changes, you know. And like the fact that something needs to happen and something needs to change, that hasn't changed. That situation just hasn't changed. You know, it's not just going to be, okay, oh yeah, let's do a study session with 100 people and let's fucking milk the shit out of this and combine forces and, you know, spread all the knowledge, everything that we learn. Yeah, you're going to eat up through everything. You know, something's got to give on the other side as well. And to not see that sometimes is just, you know, it's not really fair. And at the same time, you know, if you're dealing with a publicly traded company, not everything can be said, because, you know, that is also the case with esports companies. Sometimes a thing that happens in a team cannot be said, or why somebody is moved, or why somebody was removed, or why a certain repurpose of money was made, because it's a publicly traded company. You just don't do that, right? It's not like there's one person who's like, well, I did because so and so. And that's what I mean with like repurposing certain investments or talk to governments and all that stuff. There's so much stuff happening in the backside where it's just like, yeah, we can't talk about this, but Jesus fucking Christ, you know? Like, we're really, really trying. It's like the same with you. Like, we had a conversation at the PSPC, right? Where you walked around, you talked to a shitload of PokerStars employees, and you're like, holy shit, all right. You know, that really changed your perspective. I remember you saying that, or at least like it, you know, it made it softer in certain regard, or you understood it a little bit better. Like, it's like when I meet like fucking Finton and Spraggy and Fatima or whatever, and we have a meeting at the Isle of Man, and we go there, and everybody that you meet, everybody in that fucking office is just excited about figuring out something new, trying something new. And then, you know, with trying new games, trying to get new stuff out there, like they made a really cool model where it's very easy to try new stuff. And then it's like, Oh, okay, we're gonna try and unfold because people like to rabbit hunt. So it's like very low cost investment, right? We're gonna try and unfold, and then somebody's like, "Oh, well, how about uninstall?" Oh yeah, well, you fucking moron, you're part of the fucking problem, all right? It's just like it's almost it turns into like this kind of thing where somebody will say something or somebody will tweet something about it, and then if Daniel says something, there'll be like people that immediately, oh, let's make this joke or insert it into that. And then other people kind of jump on a bandwagon and they're like, oh, who can make the best joke? But in the meanwhile, you're shitting on innovation that could do something. Like, what's bad about that? What the fuck is bad about trying a low-cost new project that might trigger people to like poker or revisit it because it's a play on the game that they loved? Like, what the fuck is bad about that? And that's what I mean. Like, there's such a big gray area. And it's almost as if, like, a lot of the time when something happens, people will judge stars or the people like me or whatever, Daniel, involved with it. There's a big gray area, but as soon as there's something steps on that gray area, you shoot it down. But meanwhile, the gray area goes all the way to the people opposing it, and there's tons of stuff happening there too that doesn't help and that doesn't do anything either. And it's just not really productive and efficient. Like, I wouldn't call it like fair or not because it doesn't fucking matter. Like, I don't really care. Like, I know that me working with stars has a bottom line very positive influence on what happens with poker and the amount of people I'm able to reach and the way I'm able to reach them, right? So, like, I'm very comfortable with that, and I stand for that too. Like, I really stand for that, and I talk to the people and I stand for their drive, their passion, and their will to grow poker and to make it better. Like, I'm really, really passionate about that. But if some people just don't want to give anything a chance, and I feel like that's a very bad climate to be in, because then it's like it's almost as if you got one out of once in a very shitty tournament, or let's say with the Supernova Elite thing, right? You got a floor rule decision against you that shouldn't have happened or whatever, that was just fucked up, and then you kind of remember that, and then some others, and then you get one out at once that is sometimes a logical thing but doesn't feel fair, and then you lose a few flips, and then something good happens, but you don't remember that because of all the shitty stuff that happened, right? That's a good parallel for it, because PSPC happens, and then tons of fucking money goes into that and the promotion, and everybody agrees like this is a great fucking event, but it costs a shitload of money to run, right? So, like, if marketing spend goes towards that, and then you'll read the next week, this is just some fucking guy putting it in his pocket. They just ran a tournament that cost tens of millions of dollars. You know what I mean? So it's just not productive a lot of the time, the way the discussions are held. And I feel like people, in a lot of ways, are just kind of set in what they feel and what their position on it is.
But you can understand why the conversations aren't productive with how PokerStars has treated the customers and the winning players out there over these past few years. So I can think about, for instance, I know that I've made comments like that in the past, and I know we've had discussions about that too, where with certain game types came out or make jokes and stuff like that about Rake or about anything like that. And I think it's rightfully so, because PokerStars went from being a place where people could make a living on there. They could turn their dream of becoming a small stakes player into a high stakes player and make that a realistic thing. And that was what they promoted, and they've gone away from that in terms of promoting winning players. They are promoting more poker, more play poker, not necessarily win at poker. So obviously people in the community are going to be very, 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 very upset about this. So you understand them making jokes or saying things or saying, well, we don't believe this new game's a rake trap, we don't support this new game, sort of thing like that, because players have been upset about that. So it'd be great if people are like, oh yeah, give them a chance, sure. But at the same time, I think we understand why that doesn't take place too.
No, I understand completely. Like, I understand. Like, it's a normal, like, mental process, right? Like, I draw the poker parallel not because I think it's illogical, but because I think it's logical sometimes, right? Like, if you had a few bad experiences, it needs to come back. But at the same time, you can make a counter argument for saying, like, all the stuff that there was before, it only took like 3 really bad experiences to wipe all that away too. Like, like where people were like the fucking God in France for 12 years straight. So, but I understand. Like, I understand some people being salty about it too, and that they're mad about it and has a big effect on their lives. Of course, I do understand. But at the same time, I do feel like something needs to happen. But I've always, even when it was still like everybody was super happy, even in that period of time, I was always very much against like catering towards regulars and stuff. I truly believe that a main event of a tournament should start on a Friday and the final table should be on a Monday, so that people can take like 1.5 or 1 day off work. Like, fuck all this like 6-day main event structure, 2 hours, fucking levels, all this stuff. I've always been very opposed to that. And it's, of course, there is a how do you say it in English? There's a profit motivation when you make changes, but a lot of money did get reallocated from regulars to losing players, or
Right.
to net depositing players. That really happened. A lot of them still, made rewards that were reasonably high as well. So, there's difference. And if you just say like, all right, fuck this, like we just need to take some of that money and we should just all put it in marketing. All right, let's like broker this UFC deal. Fuck, man. Let's try to get poker back in Australia or something. All right, we need budget. Like, we need it come from somewhere. If we combine it with this, there's so many things going on. It's like fucking, hundreds of people.
Let's talk about that for a second. So I just sit here and think, okay, do I want poker back in Australia if the players aren't going to have a chance to win at the game? I don't know. I mean, I can't say I'm an advocate for getting poker back in Australia if the players they can't win. The program's not designed to let people win. And of course, some people are still going to win because they either get really lucky or they're just that elite of a skill level to overcome the more and more hurdles that are being thrown their way. But I'm not for, I guess, all right, here you go. It's just casino style games and high rate games and games where the company tells you that they're not for winning players and they don't want people to win. So I'm not sure if I can really say, yeah, I want to get poker and PokerStars back in those jurisdictions when that would be the state of what's going on there.
Yeah, but just saying that like that every game that's offered is unbeatable, which is just not true.
I'm saying that PokerStars has said they want to get rid of those winning players. That's that the changes are being made to do. They're trying to figure out ways to make more money for the company, to limit the people who do cash out money from the poker site. This is what they've said in releases or the CEO talks or in any sort of the sheets that you read in terms of the conference calls like that. That's within the direction of the company that they've decided to do since Amaya took over as well. So, and as somebody who built their entire everything from poker, I mean, that kind of sucks. And I think when people see a lot of people who've been around poker for a very long time, who became who they were through poker, then they start advocating that, oh no, it's that like these changes are fine. Like this is for the good of that. I don't know. It's this thing where it's really hard to kind of get behind, because on one hand, I understand that, but on the other hand, a lot of people wouldn't be here as professional poker players if these changes were in place years ago. And of course, things evolve. There's other sites to play on as well too. There's other ways to make it as a poker player now, but it's still hard to not understand where a lot of those people are coming from about being upset about this route being, I guess, taken away in a lot of ways, and it not being a realistic path on a great site like PokerStars.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Like I said, I respect that people that does something to somebody, and that that has an effect on people. And I do think like the wording is too harsh in that way. Like, it's not like, oh, we don't care about that, or we want to kind of dissuade that, because there's still, through Twitch and climbing the mountain there and showcasing poker in a certain way, there's still ways where you can very positively, grind poker and win at it and do it a certain way. Mm-hmm. I think it's just a very specific, like top 0.2 percentile style of player that's being talked about then. And I think that the danger there is that it's kind of like caught on to somebody that's just grinding like 1-2 no limit or whatever is winning, that he feels like, oh, that's directed towards me as well or something, which is just not the case. Mm-hmm. It's just still very much where you just want people to grind up and stuff. And it's just a different way now. It's when you and me started playing a lot, we'd look at the heads up tables and we just look at that. But if that shit really, really, really annihilates all those guys, what you're saying, like, okay, so what if Australia ever, like, I have no idea, but what if it ever would we want it to come back? Well, if there's heads up tables where you get fucking seat scripted and stabled out, then no, so you can make that argument there too. Like, it's not as generalizing as I don't think it's as generalizing as you make it seem there.
Oh yeah, I mean, and we can also say that I'm when I'm referring to this, I'm referring to a very, 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 very limited amount of the customer base as well too, because I understand that most people aren't winning poker players, but at the same time, that's that's what I've always known in terms of what poker's about. Why do you have to win at poker? We could debate that question. Why should poker be a game you can win at? Why not just be a game that you play and you lose at, and whoever is putting on the game makes the money? Why isn't that like any other game out there? We could debate that too, but that's not how I've known poker to be. And while other people, I guess, might promote a different version of poker, for me, I find it hard to really get behind that because, like, I wouldn't be here. Like, the poker dream is such a strong thing to me, and it's something that I like to at least promote to people out there as well too. That if you do play this game, you actually have a chance to change your life and change your lifestyle.
Yeah, but you still do.
Right. I agree. You still do.
So you still do, but it's just like it's not as easy as it was. You have to put in different. You have to reallocate your time.
Right,
You
different
probably have
plan, different strategy. I agree with that.
yeah, you have a different strategy. You have to study more. You have to not. You have a staff of safety net. It used to be easy enough to kind of jump into head first. It's just different, but it's still very much alive. There's fucking people making shit tons of money at playing spin and goes, like legit. It's like legit grinding. It's still there. You can still do it. I mean, if you tell me that you can't play the Sunday tournaments on Stars and not make a good living, like what the fuck,
Yeah, I think tournaments will probably always be enough variance in them, enough bad players in tournaments that they'll probably always be away. Maybe I should have learned tournaments back in the day. So
I mean, you had some fun. You had some fun trying to study for the PSPC.
I had a lot of fun studying for tournaments. I'll be honest with you. There's so much material out there that the thing is overwhelming in some ways because I put out there to study, and then you get notes from this guy, you get notes from this guy. These people send you information, and then you see there's 25 programs, and you're like, well, where the hell do I even start with this? And what's where's the route that I go? So that was the challenge that I faced trying to learn for PSPC was like, what the hell do I do? Where do I start? So and then I tried, and I was like, well, I'm just much better at Pot Limit Omaha, so I'm gonna stick with PLO cash games. And I played a little bit of tournament in between then, but I mean, it does seem like that's probably one of the most profitable things that you could play long term. I'm hesitant to say that. Of course, you could play cash game and get into private games and play against bad players, and you could probably make a lot of money there too. But you can also lose a lot of money there as well. So it seems like tournaments are the way of the future, and we could debate the way of the past. I mean, listen, they've always been the most popular format in poker, so it doesn't seem like live tournaments are dying anytime soon. And in fact, only getting stronger and stronger and stronger as I feel like there's so many new tournament series popping up all around the world with all different stake sizes that, yeah, it's probably good that you're kind of strongly behind tournaments here because it seems like they're only growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, I mean, I would tell anybody to just play tournaments if they start. I do that on my stream all the time. Start with like the lowest stakes you can. Immediately start watching YouTube videos, get all the knowledge you can. Because in this day and age, if you can't find the motivation to go to YouTube and look up free content and look at hand breakdowns and whatever, if you can't get yourself to do that, you're not going to make it. Because also when you get really good, you're going to have to do a lot of studying. So, a lot of free information out there, and I would definitely try to look in the tournament area.
That was an intense topic, Lex, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's okay,
You're passionate about that one, though. You can understand that.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, it's like
it's something I care a lot about too.
Yeah, it's a massive thing,
Yeah, but I understand.
It's like the world changes as people know it, and like it's just like not the same world anymore. So I understand that like people are
it changes people as well too in terms of how we view things and view the world, view ourselves, view our profession as well.
Yeah,
so I think I can understand that as well too. Got a lot of people in the chat. Shout out to Damon Santori, Rachel Lees, Alexandre, Elise Schisler, aka Girl on Twitch. I know I see you on Instagram and Instagram streets. What's going on? Vabdal1 over on YouTube. Who we got on Twitch? Rack DBN. Only Bet the Nuts. World Series Poker Circuit announced their 2019-2020 schedule today, and it's massive. More events and casinos that haven't had events recently. Lex, are you coming to World Series Poker this year?
No, I don't think so. Because whenever I take time off to play live poker, I'm pretty much I'm pretty much taking a vacation. Like it doesn't do anything for me. Like it's fun, but it doesn't do anything. And I'm honestly like, no, I don't have time to go. I mean, I really regret not going last year. I was kind of going through like really bad stress shit, but I should have flown out to WSOP and just played the main event because I was like a 4-hour flight away, and I could just have left right after. But that would have been yeah, that would have been good. But I'm not gonna make it this summer. No, there's just no point for me to go.
Sound like Ninja. That's what Ninja always talks about. Can't take off streaming. It's like it's more about the stream a lot of times than it is to take time off to go do other things.
Yeah, but it's like so I have some trips with friends every year, then I have vacations with my fiance, and then other than that, if I'm gonna start taking poker trips away from that, like that's just stupid. Like it just for me with my goals, that would be stupid. It takes my mind away from the grind.
What are your goals right now, Lex?
I would really want to become like top 10 streamer on Twitch. So I'm like top 40, 50-ish English speaking now globally. So I'd really like to get there to where you just consistently, where you just like every stream is 10K. When you have a crazy one, it's 30K kind of. And then, it's really hard because there's a lot of responsibility on me as well, I think, to grow the directory, so to say, because when viewer numbers get high, and let's say I'm in the top, like every Sunday I'll get to like the top 10 on Twitch, right? So if somebody's just watching Dr. Disrespect and they think, oh, this is fun, and they just click Twitch and they go popular channels and they see me in their top 10, it's really up to me to try and get people in there and stay, because that's actually a lot of where my growth comes from, and when it's good for the directory to grow at the same time. So it's important for me to try and get those numbers and kind of grow that way. But like in the end, it's really hard to set goals because it's such a changing space, like Twitch and streaming, and there's going to be so many developments and new platforms and things to happen. And yeah, it's hard because there's no stakes, right? It's not like, oh, I'm going to try and get to 2550 this year. Right. It's not something that I can say like I really want to stay the biggest. That's important to me. Like, I've been the biggest the poker streamer for a while now. Like I really want to, like I have a lot of passion to stay that way, like a lot of motivation, a lot of drive. It's not like I don't feel complacent at all. So that's something I'm going to be working on a lot. And
what's the way that can be done? What's the way that you can start expanding that consistent audience in terms of with poker being this relatively niche thing? And if you're trying to be a top 10 streamer on Twitch, you're competing against the guys from Fortnite, you're competing against Shroud, you're competing against Ninja, Tfue, who these guys are also, hey, they've built up these well-established audiences and they have absolutely no intention, I'm sure, of leaving anytime soon because these guys are massive on there. So you're already fighting this uphill battle in a game of poker compared to Fortnite or compared to CSGO or compared to Blackout, or I don't even know what all the new game is now, man. There's Apex Legends or whatever it is out there now. So I'm not sure what the new flavor of the month is here. So what's the plan to be able to get to there, and how can that be done?
Well, I think one thing that's really important if you want to stay somewhere, if you're doing really well in content space or something, like you should always keep innovating. It's very important to kind of think ahead for your viewers, and if I could come up with stuff that they want to see before they knew they want to see it, that's when they keep getting triggered, and that's when they keep knowing that I'm actively thinking about how to make everything better. So also just like working with partners, maybe collaborating, doing different kinds of events. But it's tough because you can't diversify too much, which is actually what causes me to which caused me the most stress, because like diversifying too much, spending too much time on other stuff, like what's really important or what's really interesting to me, what I learned about stress, and I know that's something you want to talk about too, but like it kind of reminds me now, let's say you have a company, right, and you're like one guy, and then you grow and you take on other stuff and you hire an assistant and you hire somebody to do the marketing, and then you become kind of CEO and you move up, right? You move up and the pyramid starts growing and you elevate yourself, you keep being in the top of the pyramid. Now, what's the problem with streaming is that your core business is being on the fucking camera, you being there. And that kind of anchors you to the bottom of the pyramid. So as long as your pyramid's growing and you're doing more stuff and everything is expanding, you're stretching yourself really thin and it kind of starts hurting your core. And as soon as I realized that, I realized like I need to cut everything that I'm doing. Like I canceled like 3 or 4 projects that I was working on. I need to cut everything that I'm doing and only need to keep doing stuff that's in like the vertical of streaming, and just kind of try to grow that way and, you know, expand. And then you come to stuff like, you know, the Lex Live tournaments, where that enhances the stream, it enhances the community, and it's kind of like a cool way to deepen the platform and widen it. Yeah, I think doing more of that stuff would be really good for me. It also is really good, right? Because you get to know your core audience better, they get to know you better. They become more loyal to each other as well. So it's just really good of strengthening everything and making it more solid.
Yeah, kind of growing that team up to help you out with Instagram, or help you out with creative ideas or content or collaborations or anything of that nature.
Yeah.
I think also with PokerStars, with the reach they have, you know, I've always said this, and I think they've been doing some more stuff like that to help promote you, but I think they could always be doing a lot more, especially with the resources that they have to put up there. Because as you said, I think the more popular you get and the bigger your Twitch stream gets, the better that is for the company, the better that is for poker as well too.
Yeah, but like, you know, if we have like 3 meetings, how to do extensions and link stuff to promotions, and, you know, do all kinds of stuff to engage people, you just don't see anything about that, you know. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, cool guys, we have an extension. Or, you know, them working with Run It Up and just like, you know, cooperating and funding Run It Up to do all this kind of stuff. And you have like, you know, Reno, the production stuff there, and, you know, they're planning all these things. Those are just, you know, things that aren't really out in the open like that, but are still very important.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Run Up, Reno. You didn't go there, Lex. Come on, man. Make the trek. The Netherlands to Reno. Make the trek, buddy.
Yeah.
Beautiful place. My God, what a nice place.
I had a thing with Easter weekend with friends, like one of those things where everybody promises not to cancel it. And, you know, I've done that so much in the past where I canceled a lot of stuff I shouldn't have canceled. So I just wasn't going to do that. I went to TwitchCon Berlin as well because it was so close by, which is the other reason I didn't go. But I was actually super disappointing from what it was. So yeah, I could have gone, but I'll be at the next one.
All right, let's talk about the health, Lex, and talk about the stress and dealing with the stress and what happened with you last October, September, I believe, with health. And you mentioned you were walking down the street and end up collapsing on the street. And
yeah.
Talk more about that, and just talk about the idea of being overly stressed out and why that happened.
It's so what pretty much happened was we went to I already worked like a lot, right? Like I did a lot, and my mind would never turn off, and I would try to, you know, do more and more and more and more because I wanted to grow and I wanted to become the biggest streamer and stuff and everything. And I was like, no days off, and I can work harder than these guys. Like, you know, I can fucking put you in misery with the amount of hours I will stream. And that's kind of what I thought. Like, you know, I'm just gonna take people to the streets. And I was doing that, and then we started traveling, and it's weird because traveling also in a way is tiring because it's not just like you're laying on a beach, right? You're getting new experiences, you're getting impulses. You know, in some ways I'm a bit introverted, so it can be more taxing if you just do stuff all the time. Then on top of that, I started playing a lot higher. My viewership went up. I was battling Tonka every day in the directory for the #1 spot, and, you know, just don't want to really give any space away there. So doing that, and then being 4 or 5 months into that schedule, I started going to or we went to Panama. And Panama's kind of where shit hit the fan a little bit first. I had some trouble with my computer, internet wasn't working, we had stuff with the landlord, and I would get like really short fuse, you know, like to a point where your girlfriend could ask something while you're in the car, and she's like, you know, you want to have a sip? It's like, it's busy, you know, like you kind of just snap. You just said like, it's busy, wait, or something. And she's like, whoa, calm the fuck down, you know? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, you're snapping at me. And then I only realized that I snapped. So you have like all these little things, and it's kind of your body telling you, no, it's just symptoms of stress, right? It's just annoyance is one of the first symptoms, and you just like get annoyed. If you stub your toe, you just want to fucking rip the door out of its socket, and you just want to go crazy, right? It's just like little things like that. So that's what happened first. And then I had a talk with my girlfriend where she actually was the first to mention. She told me, like, you're just kind of being an idiot. You're doing too much, and you forget that streaming is your core, and you're kind of forgetting it sometimes. And I feel like you're overworking yourself for not that much gain. So it's like the 80-20 rule, right? Like, or 70-30, whatever. Spend 30% of your energy on what's 70% of your income, platform growth, whatever it is. So she's like, you're spending all this extra energy and it's just very marginal. And I was like, no, it's not true and whatever. And she's like, well, at the basis of it, you're just becoming snappy and I don't like it. Like, you're tired, you don't want to do stuff as much, and I just won't stand for it. Like, this is just not the way we're gonna live. I was like, okay, that's a real reason for me to just kind of like pay attention and think I need to adjust some things. So made some small adjustments, seemed to go better. But kind of like the thing with stress, if you're in a spot where you get these symptoms that you just need to take it more easy and you don't, your body just kind of acknowledges the fact, and this is just like human wiring, your body just acknowledges the fact that you're still in a stressful situation and you're not going to get out of it, so we need to keep going. So then all of a sudden those symptoms go away because your body feels like, oh, I don't need to tell you this anymore. So then we go to Canada and I start streaming. I streamed so often, like it was just crazy. Like 5 days, no game days, nothing, just 5 days, 11 hours a day. All kind of projects running, meetings at like 11 p.m., meetings at 7 a.m. before I went live, flying to places to do commentary. Then I flew to Monte Carlo and we got back and it was scoop time, right? So this is when I should be like super ready, super charged. We go to a Kendrick Lamar concert in Vancouver. We fly to Victoria the next day and scoop starts. It's just like, when you think about it, it's the worst fucking prep. Like, if you look at it in a vacuum, you can think, okay, you can stream, you can play poker a few days when you're jet lagged, right? But not when you're already super tired, not when you've already had travel and work done and everything. So I started playing Scoop, and at a certain point during Scoop, I remember it was so weird. I thought I was getting sick. Like, I started to sweat, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. I was telling my chat, I don't know what's going on. Why do I feel weird? It's like I feel like I need to lay down or something. And then I busted a tournament and it came again, and I kind of settled down again. But it was just because I busted a high roller and I was playing some low stuff, so it's kind of settling down again. And I told my chat, oh, I think I'm a bit tired. I'm gonna take a day off tomorrow. So the next day I took off and I felt like, oh, I rejuvenated and whatever. And I also had a headache for 3 weeks straight, just a headache, like as if somebody has a rope around your head and you're just kind of like pulling it. And it's just like this headache every fucking day. And then I just didn't think anything of it, right? I just thought, like, I don't know, maybe it's the climate. We just got to Victoria. Started sleeping really poorly. Woke up at, would wake up at 5:30, wouldn't sleep again. Sometimes fall asleep at 3 a.m., even though, we went to bed at like 11. So done Scoop, felt super weird during some stretches of it. And then we go on vacation, right? So Scoop is done, we go on vacation, and we're in Hawaii. And I was trying to sort something with friends, and I didn't know if they were going to be there. And then I told Mirta, we'll see. And then we start talking about it. And she's like, well, just do it this way or whatever, and then we can do that. And then I just lose my fucking mind. Like, I start fucking screaming angry. But I never have that, right? Like, I never have that with my girlfriend. Like, we never just like scream. We fight, of course. Everybody has their fights, but not like to the point. And I immediately knew it was something different, right? So such a weird experience. Like, I just screaming, like, I don't know what the fuck. And then I was like, I don't even know why I'm screaming right now. I have no fucking clue why I'm screaming, but I really need to like let this out. And she was just like looking at me like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on, And it was done. I just started fucking crying. Like, I was just like, what the fuck? And I was like, she's like, what the hell is going on? I was like, I don't know. She's like, I think it's just like tiredness coming out of Scoop. And I was like, I think so too. And then it was just so weird, like inescapable, just fucking getting emotional and stuff. And then, Hawaii was chill, decided to turn off my phone, all that stuff, and, take some good measures. And then we get back to Victoria and we go see a movie. And this is like 2 weeks later again, and this go see a movie. And we have like half an hour before the movie starts. And she says, hey, you want to just get a quick chair massage because, it's been bad for your back, whatever, playing a lot. Okay, so I'm like, okay. So I sit in the chair and I start fucking sweating and I'm sitting there. And this is like during a fucking massage, right? And I'm like, I need to go outside. I need to fucking go outside. She's like, okay, that's fine. I'll just pay and we'll go. So she's outside. She's like, what's going on? Are you okay? I just fucking start crying again. I'm like, what the hell? What is this, So then I actually I noticed like this is not normal, like this is happening, and this has happened like 3 or 4 times. So I went to see a doctor, and I talked to somebody, and they're like, this is like the very last stage. You have like, you know, annoyance, and you're in the very last stage before your body just like pops the balloon and you're just gone for a year. You know, it's just like you're fucked. And it's just like the last signals where it literally triggers you to cry, to notice that there's something's wrong, kind of. And and then I had a really interesting conversation with a guy that I've talked a lot about time management and stuff. And he said that if you have stress like that, and he taught me that, you know, your body continues, and then you kind of um, your body starts dealing with it. You go into survival mode, and the first symptoms you notice are psychological. So you get snappy and stuff, right? The annoyance, snappiness, whatever. The last ones are physical. That's like your body saying, like, I cannot fucking do this anymore. I just can't. I'm done. So you start getting physical stuff. You start sweating. You block. I showed a video on my stream of me getting a stress attack, because they're not panic attacks. Because panic attacks, you think you're gonna die or that you're not safe and stuff, and you need to leave. But like these are stress attacks, and I got one, and it's just like I needed to press the button to record a video for YouTube, and I was just hovering over the record button. I just fucking couldn't do it, and I was completely short circuited, and I was just sitting there, and I started sweating, and I felt like super vulnerable, kind of. So um, he said that one of the things that really helps is you immediately need to gear down to let your body know you're safe, kind of you're okay, you know, like that you're listening. So what he told me is like, nobody makes a claim on your time. You don't let anybody do anything. So even if your girlfriend says, "Oh, I feel like eating Japanese food," if you don't want to eat Japanese food, you do not eat Japanese food, right? No concessions, no compromises, nothing. You watch what you want to watch. You do whatever the fuck you want to do, preferably inside in a kind of a dark room, so you don't have too many impulses and stuff. So I just pretty much spent watching playoff hockey, basketball, and Stranger Things and that sort of thing. So I just laid inside for like 3 days, and then I noticed I started relaxing more. Like I pretty much geared quickly back down to the point where you get annoyance and stuff. So as soon as I knew the symptoms and like kind of the trajectory that you go through, I knew that I could watch the symptoms and kind of go through it. So I actually went through the whole burnout, recovering from it, streaming, because I would just say, all right, guys, we're going to stream once this week, and that's just going to be it. That's all we can do. So um, as soon as I did that, and then I would notice, oh, stress attack or something happens. All right, I need a week off, and then I kind of got through it that way. But then I had some good stuff in place. Then I did WCOOP, which was insanely stressful because my PC kept crashing, and it's just like unbelievable. Like, yeah, fucking Jason Somerville online, Parker, Sprague Fenton, all those, everybody and their fucking mom is streaming, and your computer just crashes twice a day. It's just like too much to handle. Like, even thinking about it, I get so fucking mad. So then WCOOP happened. I go back to Holland. We had to move, which my girlfriend did a lot of, but have to move streaming. And then I go back to go a few weeks later. I go to Isle of Man for meetings, and a week later I go to Reno. And Reno had a really bad jet lag. I only slept once a day, and I started getting the headaches again. And I was like, "Fuck, this is really bad." I could not even really sleep well. I slept like I just couldn't fall asleep, and I just after if I would wake up once at 1 a.m., I could just not go back to sleep. So then I'm at San Jose right after Reno, and I'm walking around, and there was such a fucked up experience. Like, I get really hangry. Like, my blood sugar levels is not really good. I get really hangry, and I uh, I just thought like, oh, I need to eat. I need to have some breakfast. And I was like pretty good, right? I'm just standing around. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to TwitchCon. Let me go eat some breakfast. I just had a meeting with a management agency. Like, everything was good. Everything was happy, whatever. And I just stand in line. I'm like, oh shit, I really need to eat. I feel like kind of dizzy. And I'm like, oh fuck, I don't feel good. Like, I need fresh air, I think. So I go outside, and I'm standing there, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, my knees go weak. And then I sit down on a bench, and I feel, oh, and I stand up, and I see like mud on my hands and whatever, and my fucking nose hurts and my teeth hurts. I'm like, what the fuck? So apparently I just collapsed full frontal on the thing, on the pavement, and went to the doctors, and they said that like my heart had irregularities and everything, and it was just all stress related and stuff. So I had to go back home. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a long story, but yeah.
So how do you prevent something like that from happening again then?
Well, make adjustments. Like I think one of the things that is really bad is that if I do something like, for instance, floating tanks really help me, right? Like sensory deprivation tanks really help me. Um, if I if I do something and it helps me and it kind of takes me away from a bad situation, then I'm happy once the problem is fixed. So I'm like, oh, I feel good now. I don't need to do that shit anymore. It just kind of loses from a pattern. But over the last, like, I came back from Triton commentary in February, and then I had Lex live a week later, and I just had headaches again for like 4 or 5 days straight, headaches and whatever. So this year I've been better. I do meditation like 10 minutes every morning. Like every single morning I do it. I've been doing floating tanks. I've been, I bought I bought a treadmill in front of my desk to just get like more movement in, be healthier and stuff. So there's there's a lot of like kind of handholds that I plus um, I'm okay with taking time off now. So if I don't feel good, I just say I need 4 days and I just take time off. To where before I was like, I cannot take off 4 days. I need to fucking stream and everybody's gonna be streaming. And now it's just like, now I look at it more in a longer perspective. I take time off because I trust the process and be in the long grind. And I think that really helps too. But it's like, honestly, I've been kind of going in and out of bad spots since September, while slowly getting better. So my bad days are bad, like really bad, to where like my head is just fucking exploding. I can't think, I can't do anything. I'm just staring down at emails. If my phone rings, I get annoyed, whatever. That's like a bad day. But overall, the days are getting like, those are getting like less and less, and it's getting better. And it's just important. I talk a lot to Mirta about it, and I just have these solutions that I know work, and I just try to implement them in my schedule and be more realistic, like cancel stuff that I need to cancel, stand for stuff I should stand for, communicate better with Mirta why I'm feeling a certain way on a certain day, and just try to get out through that, because like taking time off for me is also not an option. So
Why not?
Just I think that would in the end give me more stress. Like if I would just say like I'm gonna be gone for 2 months, that would probably fix a lot of stuff, but it just not be for me. It's just not that would just present more problems, I think, in the off time or just wondering about work or whatever. I just think there's like small fixes that I'd rather change a pattern than do like a hard fix, because in the end, if I do like a hard fix or a crash course, it's more like symptom treatment. It's like doing a fucking whatever. I don't even want to mention carbs with all the fucking poker Twitter talk about everything. But if you do like a crash course weight loss, there's no real point to it. It's better to change a pattern and lose like a pound a week or something, because then it becomes part of your schedule and you can actually maintain it after you make a goal. So I'd rather do that with this too. I like changing it as it goes, and if I notice something's still too much, I tweak it. I've been taking a lot of Wednesdays off in my schedule. That really helps, because on Sunday I usually stream like 15 or 16 hours, and I'm brain dead on Monday. Like I'm fucked in the head on Monday. Like I can't do anything. I just can't think. It's so draining to stream that long and for that many people. So, and that's fine. I accept that now. But I also realize like Saturday is my day with my girlfriend, and I want to stand for that. I don't work on Saturday, right? Because I already work on Sunday, and those are her 2 off days. So I already don't work on Saturday, and I can't do anything on Monday. So I've been really, really needing the Wednesday to like work on stuff for Lex Live, or work on graphical stuff, production stuff behind the scenes that I'm working on for the stream and everything. So it's yeah, that's better for me to just notice that. And now I just know, okay, so as long as this is going on, or I feel this way, or I have headaches, Wednesday is off. If I have a lot of stuff to do, Wednesday is off. And if in the summer I'm more relaxed and I don't have that much stuff to work on, Wednesday is stream time.
I don't know, man. It sounds like the path you're on, it sounds like just something's gonna happen again.
I don't necessarily think so.
I can feel that all over the place. I mean, it's. I know how the challenge is, and when you take on more and more, and obviously very ambitious, want to get to that top 10, I can see you choosing to sacrifice your health and trying to push through, because that's what you do. You push through these kind of feelings like that. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's pushing through anymore, because if I notice they come up, and if I notice they come up and I acknowledge that, and I take a day off, then I do something about it, right? That's not pushing through. That's actually like taking a step back.
And if you're feeling that bad on some days,
Yeah, but it used to be constantly.
some more days at some point, and then at some point you let it recover. It doesn't recover, and it just seems.
No, it's like, I mean, this is coming from like a situation where I streamed 1 day in 2 weeks, and then I would do 2 days in 2 weeks, and then I would do 3 days, and then take like 5 days in a row off, or if I know I have a big week coming, like next week I'll only stream once before Scoop starts. So like the times where I have headaches and feel that way are getting less and less and less. So it's not getting more and more and more, where I'm like living on borrowed energy.
At what you're doing right now.
Yeah, so it's just like what I did, like, oh, Lex Live's around the corner. I felt major headaches and I couldn't really put things in perspective. And I just told my stream, all right, next 4 days I'm off. I need this. I'm gonna do it. And it actually helped and immediately helped. So me listening to the signals and actually being honest with myself, what it means and what I have to do everything is a huge win, and it's yeah, no, I definitely feel like it's like kind of like this. Like I have bad days, but it's going up. It's going up, and I also feel like I'm more productive. I get a lot of shit done. So not only is the headaches and the insomnia and stuff getting less and less and more rare, also I feel like I'm more efficient in my work, and I'm actually getting some really big shit done too. So I'm being more efficient in my work, where also kind of recovering, feeling better. Like in my head, I'm not close to being burnt out right now. Whereas if you would ask me in the summer, it's and in San Jose when I kissed the pavement, it's like I was like 1 day away of being completely fucked.
Wow, fucking crazy, bro. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people out there go through similar type of feelings with their own job and whatever it is that they're doing with their own life, and I'm sure they have these things that happen to them and they aren't aware of why it exists or what it means or what it's going to lead to. So it's sharing something like this is something that can potentially save someone else's life, possibly.
Yeah, I mean,
if they get to hear this, that this might be something they notice for themselves and say, hey, maybe I either need to be more mindful of what stresses me out and figure out a way to remove that, or I need to take a big break from what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's important, and I think one of the things that struck home with me the most, I think which for a lot of people will help, because if you get distressed, if it's from a work situation, it's because you really want to and you want to put more time and effort in and stuff, is the fact that taking breaks is part of the grind. And that's something like you mentioned earlier. It's like no days off is a thing, but no days off just sounds fucking stupid to me now. Just like, how can you be efficient, or how can you protect your quality or longevity? Also creativity, man. Like the stuff that I was working on when I felt stressed, there was so shit. Like the quality was so bad, it was just a waste of time. And now on days where if I just do something, like I'll just do stuff like I haven't done in fucking years where I just go like, okay, I'm just gonna go to like a floating tank, I'm gonna get a massage, I'm gonna have lunch with a friend, I'm gonna meet my mom for coffee, and I'm gonna go home. Like the fucking ideas that I'll have in that afternoon are some of the most positive received on Twitch when I'm streaming next, or when I'm changing something, right? They're like, oh wait, I'm gonna do that, or I'm gonna make this emote. Oh, that would be good. That sort of thing. That they have the biggest effect because it's like from more of a relaxation standpoint than fuck, I need to get this done, and that just doesn't work.
Yeah, Kirk Royce, he says human beings need purpose and meaning. Do you feel like you have a purpose or meaning right now, or a direction you're headed towards?
Well, the just the community thing, man. That's like if you look at it from a work perspective, right? Like what's my purpose? Like it's so gratifying. The things that people do in my community for each other is so amazing. It's just so many nice things happen. So many people that are nice, and I'll get messages and this like really goes. This really speaks for the community and not not for me or whatever. But like people say, they were in the hospital and they got taken in because they had failed suicide attempts, and they were in the hospital and they started watching the stream and they started chatting, and they have a fucking job and they're engaged now and they're super happy, and they left all that things behind because there was always, every time there were people nice in the chat and inquiring, and they didn't know the story, but they were just being nice, just to be nice, and that made that person feel like he could he did have people liking him, and he could be a person that was among other people, and all that stuff. Like, and that's just one example. There's like dozens of those, and sometimes I'll hear them years later through like a PM. I was in the hospital then, or I was depressed, or I was going through this, or I lost my dad, or whatever, or just people saying like, hey, I finally went for the job that I wanted to. Like, I don't know. That's what really is my number one motivator right now. I could not do this if it wasn't for community or whatever. And that's why my chat gets, like, people get out of line plenty of times, and I like it, but I always want people to be able to have a safe environment where people can just talk about anything without immediately getting like, the kind of online haha lol idiots kind of thing, which happens a lot. So I feel like I have a mature chat in a way, but I think that some people that are like banned from my chat or that see it in a different way think it's like over policed, but it's not at all. It's just like people need to be able to interact, and I think that's a good thing. So in terms of like that, just makes me feel really fucking wholesome, to be honest. Like, this feels I don't know, very gratifying. And if we can build on this and do it and start doing Lex live a lot and people to strengthen those relationships, and it's it's really awesome.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with running a strict chat. I know I run a chat very, very strict around here. Kim Jong Joey, we have our emperors in the chat that I tell them to police it very hard, because we had one guy in here. He said, who's timing me out? I mean, the guy's acting like a fucking idiot. It's why I timed you out, buddy. Okay. Don't act like a fucking idiot. You want to put down the guest or want to make jokes or want to make things like that, I'm going to time you out. I don't like the comment. That's where I come from with my sort of chat moderation. And I've always done that with my chat, because what happens is that you go into a chat and it's unreadable. It's just negative, putting people down, toxic as fuck. Just the grossest shit I've ever seen in my entire life, Lex. You go to live like chat, it's disgusting. It's, if there's a woman playing on Live with the Bike, it's, oh, look at her boo, look at her. I want this. I want it. It's disgusting. Honestly, it's just I've never participated. I don't chat like that. I've never have. I just don't fucking understand it. The comments, they leave the comments. I don't understand it. And I know a lot of people out there do that. You like to troll. They like to do things like that. I'll say sometimes this real money, that's the extent of my trolling sometimes. Or the Trooper would crush this game. I like to say the Trooper would crush a lot of games, right? I think I'm being serious. Maybe he would crush the game, 5,100 game with Garrett, the $1 million cash game. Put the Trooper in there. Let him see what he's made of, man.
Yeah.
But some of the other comments I read is so fucking mean, dude. And I mean, I see it for myself when I go play on Live with the Bike, and I know how much that shit hurts.
Yeah, but it
don't stick. It's not like it's something that sticks with you, but you go on and go in there. This guy's this, that. It's like, shut the fuck up sometimes, man. With some of these comments, but it is what it is, right? That's how the state of things. That's the state of chats. That's the state of comment section. That's the state of social media. And I personally, that's not what I'm after. I don't want it. I'll ban every fucking buddy if that's what it's going to take to have my chat or my comment section not look like that. And anyone can say anything they want about it. I'm perfectly fine. If they don't want to watch it, I'm perfectly fine. If they don't want to participate in it, if they don't support it, I don't care. I'm perfectly fine with that too. And it sounds like you have a similar outlook on your chat room too. Chat room is fired up. Obviously, I get a little fiery about that, because it's something that I think I just see other people, and it's disgusting, the comments I read in their own chat.
Yeah, I think that if you have a platform, if you have a channel, if you have something where people can express their opinion that you can police or you can moderate, I think that it's your responsibility. If your chat is really toxic and just talking shit about like people in a very bad way, it's like really just like stupid, hurtful shit, and you're allowing that, then you are the problem. Then that's your responsibility, right? Then you're also to blame for that. And I just don't want that. Like, I don't want somebody to come in and say, hey, Lex, I just want to say thanks. This happens a lot, right? Like, hey, I want to say thanks. I won my first tournament. It's $90. I'm so happy and whatever. I don't want the first three comments to be like $90, lol, one big blind, lol, get the fuck out, micro stakes, lol. Like, fuck off, like that. People should be able to just share things. And that doesn't mean that everybody's just fucking happy all the time. There's tons of like critical stuff or, but it's within a regular frame, like 95% of the people, or probably close to 100%, would not say that shit. would not say that shit when people come in into a bar and just say like, haha, fucking moron. You just get punched in the face or something, right? It's just outside of.
I always wait for it. You know, I'm ready for it to happen.
Yeah, but it's just like it's outside of like regular human interaction. And if people think it's funny, or it could be an outlet for people, right? If people think it's funny, that's fine. Like sometimes I don't understand, like when people say, "Oh, I don't, Lex doesn't allow this or that." No, motherfucker, it's my platform. It's not a fucking democracy, right? I rule that place, and I do not like it, so get the fuck out. And if you want to do it, then go to some other stream or whatever and do it there. It's like, like you said too, with girls or whatever. Like I have a pretty high. I have a lot of girls that chat on my channel where everybody knows they're girls and everybody just acts normal against them, and they can talk and they can say things and they can say stuff about being stuff done, or doing stuff, and talking about whatever activity they had, or without fucking guys saying the most obscene shit and whatever. It's I don't know. I'm proud of that. It's and that's why I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks about it. That's like, it's my platform, and that's the way it is. And I Team Liquid, like the big esports site, the founder of that, Liquid Nazgul, Victor Gosens, he's one of my best friends, and he ran Liquipedia, right? It's like the same thing. That's his. So whenever we were roommates, or right before that, when he started when he made those forums, he had like 10 people chatting there, like these StarCraft players, and one guy kept making like these cynical jokes. He just fucking banned him. I was like, he was your most active chatter. Like, doesn't that hurt your growth or whatever? He's like, I don't want the foundation of my platform to be that fucking guy. And Team Liquid turned out to be like one of the best, chillest, moderated sites where you could discuss anything like critical or positive or negative, but still within like a regular frame, And I always took I took that as an example, and I thought that's what I wanted to be like. You can't just have people chatting about whatever because you only have 30 viewers and you're happy that people are chatting. You need to fucking do it from the start and shape it the way you want it to be.
Yeah, man. That's why I can't, someone like a Jamie Staples, when I see the comment section on some of the stuff he put up there before. I haven't seen it much recently, but I mean, it's just, man, it's toxic, bro. It's
ridiculous.
It's some crazy shit. I'm like, man, these guys are just,
But it's at the same time, like, it's the one thing that you always have to remember is the there's a really vocal minority. If you post a video and it gets 40,000 views and you get 15 super negative comments, it's like, in the end, it's like whatever, And especially with YouTube comments, like YouTube comments are like the last place before hell. It's just that.
You should go read the comments on my Habib versus Connor video, the 12 million. It is the most. I tell you, it's 98% Khabib in the comments section, and these guys are passionate about their this hatred and wanting Conor McGregor to die in the comment section. I've never seen everyone's like hail Habib, and then like they would talk about religion in the comment. It's crazy. It's insane. I've never seen like it in my entire life with the comments in this video.
I mean, it's like, okay, so my dad, right? My dad has Alzheimer and Parkinson. So I ban a guy from Twitch for saying something like out of line, like something really bad, right? It's not like if somebody says one thing, they are banned. It's not like that at all. They just get timed out or get talked or whatever. It's just like, And then the guy sends me a PM and he says, "I hope you go as soft in your fucking head as your dad." Like, how the fuck do you say something like that to somebody? Like, what kind of miserable person? Or, sometimes it's people that are going through really bad shit themselves and just projecting or whatever, It's like, there can be so many reasons, but you just can't let that stuff affect you. Like,
well, listen, Lex, it makes sense why people are like this way, because I feel like the idea of being a somebody who's social and getting out of the house and being more active and building real life friendships and that sort of thing is slowly eroding, and there's more outrage, there's more toxicity amongst every platform, amongst all different genres of things, and people are more isolated than ever in terms of being on their phones and being on the computer and being on their iPad, being on Netflix, that the amount of actual interaction in terms of in real life is getting worse and worse. So I think a lot of that loneliness or a lot of that is going to manifest itself in a negative way. And the way to express some of that outrage or the outlet they look for or the way that they find entertainment is to act like this in a chat, whether it's trolling or whether it's just saying comments like that. And You know, I mean, I don't know. You would talk about joke around like, oh, it's never happened in real life. I mean, I'm kind of happy it doesn't happen in real life, Lex, because one of us is going to go to the hospital, man. Like if somebody come up to me and says something like that to me in real life, what they just said to you, one of us is getting hurt, either me or him. Like that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm happy that thing doesn't happen in person because I don't know what exactly would take place. And you know, but that's the position you put yourself in as someone who creates content, is that you leave yourself open to these sorts of things, and eventually it probably is going to happen.
Yeah, no, that's true. It is going to happen, but at the same time, it's just like, you know, people have their reasons or they're unhappy, and it's I don't want to be the guy that says like everybody that says something negative about me is pathetic or has a sad life or something. You know, sometimes people are venting about something that, let's say they're going through something insanely shit, and you touch them with something you said in a wrong way, and they kind of go over ballistic, like they snap because they just had dealing with so much shit. Like that stuff happens too, but you know, at the same time, that's fine, but that doesn't need to be part of my life.
Yeah, I think I've personally done a good job of kind of getting rid of a lot of that from a lot of my stuff, from my comment section, whether it's like on Twitter, ban instant, Instagram, insta block, YouTube, insta block. Like it's like 1% tolerance, and people always ask to get unbanned. I very rarely unban them. Like if they're gone, they're gone. And I know that might limit growth in a lot of ways, and it might limit the people being active in the community, as you mentioned earlier before with what happened with Liquid. But I'm happy to sacrifice the possible increased viewership for peace of mind, not having to read that shit over and over again.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like some channels online, it's just like a lot of the video game ones too, especially because the audience is a little bit younger there. It's just so much insane. It's just like also so insanely much racism. It's just so crazy where it just how can you have that in your chat? Like I just don't understand. Like it's just too stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I keep like a chat log of everybody that's been banned. We have a Discord channel for that. So if somebody asks me to be unbanned, I can look up exactly. And then what?
You can look exactly what happened, what they said.
Yeah. So I can just see exactly what they said, and you know, sometimes I'll see that I might have banned somebody out of emotion. Like if I got really tilted about busting a tournament and somebody says something like "lol pro" whatever, going all in with sevens for 36 big blinds, what a moron, and it's their first comment, and I always think like this guy is just not going to contribute, so get the fuck out. But you know, if they
how many big blinds? 36.
Yeah, it's possible, dude.
36 big blinds all in pocket sevens. Are you for real? Yeah. The program says that's GTOX. Is that true? Pocket sevens, 37 big blinds. I shoved in ace queen offsuit pre-flop the other day at the Run Up Reno event for 18 big blinds. I thought I was the worst player of all time. I was like, what am I doing? Am I awful? Well, I actually not. I think I had ace nine. Never mind. That's probably as awful. God, I'm so bad at fucking tournaments. My God, I'm so bad. So bad at tournaments, Lex. Motherfucker, man. So bad at tournaments. How do you get better at tournaments, Lex? Can you give me some advice on how to get better? I'm
just find somebody really.
Topic we'll get into some strategy here for things like that. But what do I do? Can you give me a piece of advice for tournament players trying to get better who aren't good?
Just find somebody else who's really good at tournaments and learn from them. That's the best.
Is that it?
Also, I just like feel in tournaments, whenever you're not sure, just take the aggressive route. That seems really good. If you just play stupidly aggressive, that is the most annoying. Or not stupidly aggressive, but if you're not sure, should I go all in or should I give up here against a regular or whatever, just go all in. I think that especially recreational players these days, everybody is so fucking scared to put money in the pot. It's crazy. I get so many times, how can you go all in? Is that really standard? 13 big blinds with queen nine suited? Like all these comments every day. It's like people used to just want to get it in with any suited shit they could find. And nowadays, like the average recreational is just so fucking scared to put money in the pot. Like everybody's so fucking amazed whenever you triple barrel or whenever you make a light call or whatever, you know, it's just be like, I don't know. When people qualify for live tournaments or something and they say, this is 100 times bigger than I've ever played, what do? I was like, just fucking whenever a regular does something to you, just fucking fire back. You know, that's your best defense. Like you're not going to win it on like measured out pots and taking it easy and everything. All you can do is like, you know, making them uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm probably only going to play a few PLO tournaments this year for the series. I might play some No Limit. I don't know. I've been playing with this program, Lex, called AdvancedPokerTraining.com, and no affiliate, but I do advocate. It's so much fun. You ever been to this site, Lex?
No.
it's basically you play against AI, and I'm not saying this is the best AI, Lex, and they certainly don't call enough pre-flop to make it a realistic scenario, but it's a lot of fun. It's free. You can set the blind levels. It's like play 9-max, 6-max, worlds. I love it. It's actually really fun. So that's been me playing tournaments, and you have to fold so much. I'm learning in no home tournaments that I like to call a lot pre-flop and take it to the streets, but it turns out,
when do you fold?
according to the program, you fold a lot. I mean, listen, I'm just playing what the program says. I'm playing against bots. Yes, I got playing against bots. Correct, Landon. I'm playing against bots. AdvancedPokerTraining.com. That's the name of the site. It's a great product. I guess I don't know if it's making me any better. It's making me realize how much I should probably be folding pre-flop. But I think probably a good way to approach learning tournaments is to get a more conservative approach pre-flop and learn the basic fundamentals and ranges pre-flop, and then once you understand that, learn where you can deviate against to why you're deviating instead of coming in guns blazing and maybe getting a little bit too out of line without a reason to do it.
I don't hear that fold more a lot though. Like, I don't know, maybe you're some fucking maniac, but every time I get coaching or talk to somebody, they're like, yeah, 3-bet more here, go all in that river always. This is a really good turn to always overbet, like that sort of thing. It's always like more aggression, more chips, more everything.
You're already a very aggressive player, Lex.
I don't think like necessarily in tournaments. I kind of like to go the Deep Peters way, to where every time you see a spot that you could 3-bet, you do it. So I like that style, but it's also because I'm playing in games that I'm not a winner in, or that I don't do too well in, or like not good enough to just like fucking pile in re-entries and whatever, and not study and play without a HUD, that sort of thing. So I do think that in those situations, it's good for me to just fucking 3-bet and 4-bet bluff and that sort of thing. But if you look at the real tournament gangsters and stuff, like those guys put so much pressure. It's like napalm or something. It just like fucking never ends. It's wildfire. It's very, very impressive to see. And like, I'm definitely not on that level of aggression. So I used to always count myself as one of the more aggressive guys. Then I started playing PLO against Kobus and Lauti, and I realized I wasn't.
Well, listen, I mean, those guys are fucking nuts. So
Yeah.
yeah, I always did find it, because I don't think my PLO style. I think there were times I would turn up the aggression a lot, and I still do now. But I think I'm a much bigger winner and way less stressful just playing a more conservative style. Okay, like I know that I can maximize swings, put pressure on it, be a much more annoying player to play against if I turn up the heat in a lot of these different situations. But just so peaceful, man, to play like conservative. You don't 3-bet as much. You just call some, you bluff raise a little bit. You have a lot of strong values in your hands. You mix up your bluffs really nice. The tight aggressive style, peaceful, straight, nice straight up graph, boom, boom, boom. That other style. But when you see guys like the Kobus and Lottie who have this hyper aggressive style and just fucking completely dominate, I mean, it's one of the most impressive styles and extremely hard to play against. And it's just so much pressure on a consistent basis that eventually your mind just shakes up and you just start malfunctioning playing against these guys. And that's why they win so much goddamn money.
Yeah.
It's because they perfect that style in some ways.
Yeah, the tournaments too, like you just play against Lena 900s and it's just, or it's C Darwin, those guys, like just every time Ben B, well, actually, this is a really good spot to just fucking bluff at it. And I was just like, how the fuck is this a good spot to just pile it in? And he's just like, it's just so much aggression. It's insane. And that's actually what I really love about tournaments now too, is just how aggressive everybody plays. And it's like, yeah, you really should be raising about like 30% more often when people limit the small blinds. I'm like, 30%. He's like,
more often. Yeah. Okay.
It's like, wow, that's a pretty big adjustment. Yeah, like a hand like 9-6 offsuit could be perfect for it. Just like, oh, that's a perfect fucking hand. It's like, against the recreational, like 3 big blinds, but just make it 4 big blinds against the regular. All right, here it is, my 30 big blind stack, 4 big blinds. It's just, but you see a lot of results. It's yeah.
All right, you hear that? 6-9 offsuit, limp in the small blind versus regular, 4 big blind that bad boy up. I like tournaments I'm going to take my sentence back about liking. I find it interesting how the C-bet sizes are so damn small. Like, it's like, all right, raise 4 big blinds, C-bet 1.3. It's like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, but it's also like, it's very situational, right? Like, I mean, there's, I don't know, not to get too much in strategy, but it's just situational. It's very small. The best was when there was this meta game where I've never believed in this one, where 200, 400, somebody, and then everybody would min raise too, like straight min raise. 200, 400, somebody would make it 800, and here comes the 3-bet, fucking Mr. Pro makes it 1750. The click it back 3-bet meta, that was the worst fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. And then they go 1/5 on the flop, 1/5 on the turn, 1/4 on the river, and they're surprised you have second pair and you call, But that is not. It's interesting though. You should see, like, look at people like D. Peters. Stephen Chidwick is a good example. Like, absolute fucking gangster. Raises pre-flop, bets like, let's say like 28% or 30% c-bet, and in the turn full pot. Timothy Adams, also absolute master of bet sizing. I think from when I see him play, is so impressive. Just these insanely large bet sizes, exactly when you do not want them. It's like one of those things where you just go, well, it's a decent turn as long as he doesn't. All right, okay, fuck. That sort of feeling. They know how to generate that, and it's from us. It's not even from a randomness. It's from a solid strategy point of view. So.
Mm-hmm. What kind of mistakes do you think you see tournament players out there making outside of not being aggressive enough?
I think ICM is a big one where a lot of people still make mistakes, like a lot of regulars too. Even I think that's one of the most undervalued ones, but hard to say. It's hard to say. Like, I'm not, I'm definitely not a fucking how do you say that? Like the one with all the knowledge when it comes to like how population plays and what everybody's doing wrong and stuff. I have so much to learn myself. I don't know. But I think that ICM is a big one. People just ICM punting, calling it like just too much. Like, oh, we're on the. You see it in even some like big tournaments on TV that broadcasted as well. Even there, you see like really glaring ICM mistakes and stuff. So I think that's one part. A lot of ICM doesn't mean that you should fall into the money. ICM also means that you can play like an absolute maniac when you have a big stack. So it's a very interesting concept and requires a lot of studying.
Lex, you ever get this thing where you sit on your leg and it used to not hurt, but now you're getting older and it starts hurting?
Yeah, I even have that when I don't sit on my leg. I just get up and everything hurts.
Oh my gosh, bro. What's happening to us, man? Fuck. How old are you now?
35.
Oh my God.
How old are you?
33.
Oh, wow.
Bro, we're going to be fucking 40. We're going to be 40 and 38 on the podcast talking about we're 40 and 38. It's crazy, man.
How was that burnout, Lex? Well, it was my second one, so it wasn't as bad as the first one.
Yeah, man. Oh my gosh. How was the legend, the midlife crises of 2017 and 2018 for us, man? I handle it by turning to marijuana, Lex. That was my outlet of choice. After ACR stuff happened, I found beautiful edibles here in Las Vegas, and I sat on my beanbag chair watching YouTube videos for approximately 1 year straight, and using the pen and doing edibles and watching videos, studying marketing, going down the conspiracy theory rabbit holes. And finally, I have come out after April, thanks to Garrett Edelstein, who texted me and said, let's do a podcast before Coachella. And something in my mind said, why don't I start podcasting again? And here I am. God damn it. I'm back at it. All right. Fuck, Lex. Let's not die. All right. Let's stay alive. Let's keep ourselves sane. God damn it. Fuck, man. I'm not crazy. Okay. Holy crap, man. Let's continue this on route, man. All right. I got to say, I mean, while I see the toll the grind takes on you, at the same time, very inspirational for me, brother, because seeing the success you have, knowing how much work you put in, knowing what kind of work ethic you can put in, knowing what kind of work ethic I can put in, knowing how we talk about this a lot, very similar when it comes to just being fucking madmen who are insane and just putting way too many fucking hours. You show me what's possible in a lot of different ways in terms of what kind of success point you can get to in that scenario. So it's very motivating for me, inspiring for me to see that and say, okay, well, let me step the fuck up. What am I doing? Why am I being such a bitch about this? Why don't I just put this effort in? This isn't even hard. Like it's so much fun to do, but there's just so much distraction and so much pressure you put on yourself and so much stress you put on yourself, whether it's should or not should, that it can kind of be tough to kind of overcome sometimes and find that ultimate motivation. So it's yeah, man, I thank you for that. I'm sure a lot of people out there see that same thing as well too when they watch you and watch what you do.
I mean that'd be amazing. It's funny, like motivation can come from weird angles too sometimes, but it's important. It's just very much what makes you tick. Like what's your goal? Like intrinsic motivation is just so important. Just like it's so hard to just be just be. I mean, sometimes it's needed, but just be money driven, or just be doing what you want to do, or just think like, oh, this is just what I do. Let's just keep doing it. And all of a sudden, like, what the fuck am I doing? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
I've
think.
never really had a.
No, so I think for mine, what I did to refine this was exactly answer that question. I think for me, I just realized how much having conversations with people at a higher, deeper level, rather than just this surface level kind of stuff, is important to me in feeling happy and feeling like I'm doing something with my time and with my day. And I don't necessarily have that in my regular life for whatever reason. I kind of isolate myself a lot, whether it's from poker, or I think that's why I was successful at poker online, is because I was good at isolating myself and being okay with it. And I noticed that as I'm getting older, it's very, very unhealthy for me. So the podcast is such a great way to have these intense, deeper conversations that really mean something. And you learn a lot from them, and the other person learns from them, hopefully. And hopefully the people that are watching get to learn from them by extension as well, too. So I think that's sort of the answer to that question that I was looking for. And, it sounds like you have that as well, too, with the the emotion that you're able to give to your viewers, and the way that you're able to make them feel, and the messages that they send you, and the feedback they give you, and providing that environment for them to have a place to go hang out and be a part of something special, rather than being by themselves with their family or their wife or their kids who, kind of make them miserable sometimes. And this is a place of a relief in a lot of ways, and a place for them to learn and to get some satisfaction out of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's actually, it's funny because like what you said about wives and stuff, it's so a lot of the things that really kind of set me straight, where I was dealing with a lot of stuff, like I had, like there's really fucked up tax laws in Holland, and I had to deal with some shit there and all this stuff. But like once me and my girlfriend started going out like 4 years ago, I all of a sudden had this long-term thing I wanted to get towards, or place I want to be at. And that's why the long term is very easy for me to think about now, and to just build on it and everything. And yeah, that's been a lot of my motivation. I actually want to think about it, like being balanced and kind of stop being crazy and doing stupid shit, and really trying to build comes from that too.
Mm-hmm. Lex, I want to go over a few tweets you've made, buddy. Okay. Make sure I got these correct. Hold on a second. If you want to get up as soon as the plane stops, please get an aisle seat. You don't get to have it both ways. Let's talk about this, Lex. First of all, why do people stand up? I understand why they stand up. They want to stretch their legs, but why don't they just sit in the fucking chair as the plane's unloading when they're in the 17th row and they're in the window seat? Why would you try to stand up in the window seat with your head's like, it's like you're you guys want to go ahead? It's like, where are you want to go? Like, what are you doing? Explain this tweet a little bit, Lex.
No, I can't. There's some legit. I have some built, and people sometimes think, wow, you feel very passionate about people that hug the baggage belt with all their kids and all their shit and don't want to move. You feel very passionate about that, but this is built up baggage of 10 years of traveling a lot, where I just have to deal with people being so nobody likes a panicker. That's the problem. People that get up and stand like that and just like, can I go? Or can I, like, at the baggage belt, when they like keep looking and like, excuse me, and they're like this, and you just kind of like, I do this a lot actually nowadays. I just fucking shove somebody. Like I kind of like shove them out the way.
What do you mean you shove them? What are you talking about?
I shove them out the way. I was like, get the fuck out the way. Like I first go, excuse me, and I was like, excuse me, and then they go, and I just like shove like 3 people, get the fuck out of my way then. It's there. Nobody likes panicking people that are like, just for no reason, all of a sudden become insanely restless and think some bad shit is going to happen or something. I just can't deal with that. And in airplanes,
panicking by shoving them out of the way?
What?
Aren't you panicking by shoving them?
No, I do it very calmly.
Okay.
It's just very efficient. Like I need to get my bag. I'm not going to wait like a rotation because this fucking guy wouldn't,
Oh, so your bag's there, but they won't move.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh
what
my God. Yeah. No. Come on.
What did you think? I want to take their spot, hugging the thing?
Casually shoving them out of the way because they're too close, and you're just chilling. You're like, fuck out of here. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good MO in an airport, to start fucking pushing random people if you want to travel a lot.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Now it makes more sense. Your bag's coming. I mean, there's 2 options and strategies for this situation. 1, you go find a different spot that's open. 2, you get there earlier and you claim alpha dominance, aka alpha Rake Big Bet Berkey, dominance on the spot. 3, you ask them to move and they don't fucking move. You shove them out of the way. I like that.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know. You know how when you're sleeping and somebody behind you grabs your chair and gets up. That thing when they use your chair to get up.
No.
What?
I don't
Are
know
you
that.
one of those people or not?
I've never had this happen. I don't sleep on the plane.
You're sleeping and you're like, why the fuck? And your chair just, it's like, what the fuck is that? And you just see some guy like climbing out of his seat to go to the bathroom. You've never had
No. You take more flights than me. No, I've never had that happen.
that's like one of my biggest pet peeves. It's like when you want to get out of your seat or in your seat, you use your fucking armrest, right? And when you get in your seat, it's not like a lot of people sit down holding the seat in front of them, which are like a little bit bouncy, and then they let them go, and it's just like, and then you wake up. The moment you do that, when you're on a long flight, right? Like on a short flight, doesn't matter. When you're on a 4 or 5 hour flight, the moment that happens, you turn around and you just say, "Do not grab my fucking chair" when you get out of your seat. And then it's done. You know it won't happen again. I say it nicer than that, but
do you say nicer than that? I don't know.
I do.
Okay, I mean, listen, I don't know. Am I one of those guys? No, I'm not going to grab somebody's fucking seat, Jason. Come on, why would I do that? It doesn't make sense. All right,
No.
especially if they're sleeping. I'm very aware of people around me. I don't even want to wake the person up next to me when they're sleeping like that. So
yeah.
Somebody says Lex has a wide shoving range at the airport at the airport baggage belt. That's very true. Lex, let me run down another tweet here.
All right.
Come karaoke? Question mark. Someone asks you. You say, nah, I don't like it. They say it'll be fine. You can just hang out. And you say, okay, then I'm in. Next up is someone a little shy. Come on, Lex, let's go. You say, I said no. Come on, guys, convince them. Crowd cheers. You say, fuck off, seriously. Crowd's booing. Fuck karaoke and people that make it unbearable. Lex, what the hell is going on with you in karaoke? How do you keep finding yourself in these uncomfortable karaoke situations? And what's the big deal with going up and singing a little song?
Nobody has to like this. You don't have to like it to sing a fucking song. Like that's the problem. Like people act like you can just go and granted, this only happened like a couple times, but I know that it happens, right? In karaoke, hear it from other people too, or whatever. It's just, oh, let's go do karaoke. Oh, you really like karaoke? I don't. Yeah, but it's fine. You don't have to sing. Okay, well, I like hanging out and people having a good time and me just having a beer with you guys. That's fine. And then people put you on the spot and then they think, oh no, but this is fine. Because from my fucking perspective, this is really fun. So Lex just doesn't know what he's missing. Mm-hmm. But I do not know what I'm missing. I fucking hate it. You know, I have no interest in singing a song. I don't like it. I don't have to like it, you know? So if somebody goes, oh, hey, it'll be fine. Come on. And everybody's like, boo, boo. And then they realize, oh, this is not, you know, we're just not going to get him there. And then people are like, wow, I don't understand. Why are you breaking up the party? I was like, it was very fucking clear on what terms and conditions I came to this fucking party, you know? It's just, it reminded me, like I saw somebody post something about karaoke and it just triggered it. I've went on like a full rant on my stream once too. It's the same fucking people that will tell you to smile when you're standing somewhere, right? It's like somebody, aren't you having fun? Why aren't you smiling? Because this is the way my face looks when I'm in a neutral position. Nobody made a joke, so I'm not fucking smiling. And if I would be smiling all the time, I'd probably be called the police on because it looks really fucking weird, right? Just like
all the time.
Yeah. It's just like, it's the same fucking people. It's always the same fucking people. It's like, don't you dance? Don't you like this music? Listen, I do not want to fucking dance. If I wanted to dance, I'd be out there dancing. Just go fucking dance. Like find a little club or go stand in a little circle and dance somewhere and just fucking smile at each other. Just fucking like, why do I have to dance?
You realize that at a dance club, the objective is to dance, right? I mean, listen, usually at a dance club, people are saying you should dance.
What's the objective? Why? Because there's a fucking dance floor, I need to go over there and dance? I can't just like stand at the bar next to the dance floor talking to people?
You could. If you wanted to, why not?
But I don't want to.
You don't want to dance or talk to people.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do I go up to you and say like, hey, why aren't you just standing there over at those like high tables, just fucking standing and not smiling? Why don't you do that? Why the fuck are you dancing? I don't want you fucking dancing in my vision. It's the exact same thing. Why is that weird? It's the exact same thing.
I've never thought about this before, Lex. No one's ever said this to me or asked me why I'm not dancing or smiling.
I just don't. It's not.
Who are you hanging out with, buddy? My God.
What?
Who are you hanging out with?
No, it's fine. I have fun. I laugh. I do fun stuff. It's fine.
Okay,
It's not like but it's not. It's not like I'm just fucking standing there, not saying anything. I talk a lot. Like I talk all night. I love talking to people at the bar. I love having like beers and conversation and whatever. And I'll occasionally dance and do stuff and whatever. Like I have a lot of fun when I go out. But it's like what bothers me is that people want other people to behave a certain way when they go out, and they voice that. It kind of just kills the whole mood. I don't know.
I can see that. I know many people feel similarly to these things too. So this would be a good one. I wanna go through another tweet now.
All right.
And this one actually I feel passionate about. Pro tip for people trying to get their name out there: don't tag a million fucking people in your Instagram or Twitter post. They all just think you're fucking annoying. Thanks. Now, it happens to me a lot. Lex might be getting a bat or something. This might have actually set him off the edge here. Okay, so this happens to me all the time on Twitter, Instagram. They just mass spam people. And I do actually see them, and I usually do try. I fucking kind of I don't like when people do that for the most part, but I understand if the alternative is they don't tag anyone. At least here they have a fighting chance to get seen. What are your thoughts on this?
I think that if you want to get noticed, you do it by joining a conversation, and you do it by making good content. It's not bad to get eyes on your content. If you play a pot against me and you edited a nice video where you did something funny, or I got lucky and you made a nice edit, tag me, please. If you have something nice to say or not or whatever, but it's relevant to what I'm doing, tag me. If you did something on your stream that has nothing to do with me, keep my fucking name out of it. I don't want to get into some fucking, well, it's actually not really a Twitter conversation because it'll get like 3 likes, whatever. I don't want to get mentioned there's one guy, he would just fucking, he made Instagram. I didn't know where to block him. Like I couldn't find any more platforms. He would just fucking tag me everywhere. And he would tag like a million people. And every one of those people thinks, I'm never gonna fucking host this son of a bitch in my fucking life. Like at a certain point, I remember the name to ignore them. Like it's just not the way. Like, how can you think that's the best? I'm gonna put fucking mentions and on this guy's phone. I'm gonna put like red ones on his iPhone for the rest of his fucking career. I'll have so much negative energy and negative thought correlated to that person.
Do you want to say his name? I'll share the same energy with him, I guess.
I expect myself to forget it. No, I mean it's obviously like there's almost nobody that does this that has a reasonable audience or whatever. So, and that's the reason, you just don't get it if that's the way, It's like
what if girls start doing that? Start going around tagging a bunch of people and everything like that.
it's just like the same fucking thing. If you go into somebody else's channel and you're just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna stream later, or the self-promoting thing. Like nobody. It's just like fuck off.
Hey Lex, how's it going, brother? Nice to see you today.
How's it going? And then somebody's like, oh hey man, what are you doing? Are you streaming later? Yeah, I'm gonna be online at about 4:54 p.m. I'll be playing this and this. Right. You can join in if you want. Like fucking banned, dude. Immediately.
Insta banned. How do you deal with just getting so many messages in general? Because I know on my social medias, it's the thing about messages is that once you reply to them, they just start compounding from there. And then like you reply to someone one time and then they send you 35 more messages before you respond again. And it kind of keeps going. So I have absolutely no idea how to deal with this in an effective way. Lex, do you have any tips on how to do this?
I like interaction because that's in the end what I like about streaming. So I used to have my Twitter private messages open. I stopped doing that because for some reason the Twitter ones were more about like poker hands or other shit or commercials or viruses and stuff. The Instagram ones I have open, but I will, instead of writing words, I will just double tap messages to like them, which I think for a lot of messages is fine. If I respond to somebody and they seem to go on a conversation that, like, if somebody says something back and it's nice or whatever, I'll say something back. But at the same time, there's a lot of conversations where you kind of feel like people are just kind of wanting the conversation to keep going. I just kind of like the last message and not respond.
Right.
But I do like having my PMs open, and I do run into a lot of nice people and nice messages and people that I actually get a lot of like motivation from, and a lot of that makes me feel good or something. So But you have to be careful. You have to protect yourself there too, because if you go too deep into that, like that takes so much energy, and it's not too great. I think that a lot of stress related things is also just social media. During Easter, I turned my phone off for 3 days for the first time in like 15, 20 years. I turned my phone off for 3 days. And on the first day, I immediately wanted to take a power nap in the afternoon. I was so calm and like not, at every like resting moment where you it's like almost automatic. You just kind of refresh Twitter, you see something, you reply to a mention or whatever. And then, my girlfriend will say, oh, I'm gonna run inside because I forgot my keys or something, and I'll sit in the car. I'll immediately grab my phone and start reading Twitter. Like that's kind of toxic, It's just not really good behavior. So I try to really, I try to really change that now, and been a little bit more mindful about it,
Mm-hmm.
and especially don't fucking answer people when they say, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" Because that's the worst one. That always leads to fucking misery, money.
I gotta be
Fucking
honest, buddy. I can't say never. I've very rarely in my entire life ever messaged someone saying, "Can I ask you a question?" Maybe to come on a podcast, but I've never. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but I get a lot of those. I get so many messages like, "Hey, can I ask something?" And normally it's like from a good place and the question's fine. But I'm always I don't know. I mean, I guess it makes sense. I'm just surprised that people message you so often asking questions to you, just kind of cold calling you on social media. It's
I mean, like the questions are like, I think like on social, like Instagram or something, I'll get like 30, 40, 50, 30, 40 PMs a day or something.
Yeah.
Something, but it's a lot of time. You have the same thing. I imagine like people just responding to posts you make or whatever.
Right.
But it's just like, hey, when people need to have your attention before they're gonna get to what they want to say, that's when they're trying to trap you in something. That's when they're gonna fucking try to make you feel bad about something or guilt trip you into some fucking money shit. Or that's just those are the bad ones. I immediately I've had a little stretch where I would just block people if they ask, hey, can I ask you a question? I would just block them. Like my sample size of it's just like 99% shit and dirt. It's just if somebody has something that they're legit, hey, a lot of time, hey, Lex, how do you do this or this? People just ask their question. Why would you need to preempt the question?
Right. Lex, let's talk about one more tweet. The one thing to this day that tilts me about Rounders is the fact that Mike McDermott believed in his pro dream because he beat Johnny Chan in one limit hold'em hand. Even worse is that Kanish was impressed with the story. Everyone can win a hand or a tourney in poker, which is the beauty. Now, I think this is by design, Lex. It's the basic story is designed to show that he's a massive fucking degenerate. And I don't think it's supposed to be a glamorous story. I think it's supposed to say that this is how delusional some people are when it comes to poker, and this guy is really fucking delusional.
No, I completely agree with you. That could be the underlying motive, and that there's a lesson there. But that moment is for glory, 100%. The way they did it with the slow mo, and then it's like Knish is like, because Knish, it's kind of like the voice of Knish, right? Because Knish is supposed to be the grinder,
right? Leather ass.
He's kind of a nit, but the guy who does it, well, not the way I would want to do it, but he's a smart one, right? He does it, he grinds, he makes his money, he's able to support himself, whatever. So he's the voice of reason in throughout the movie for Mike McDermott. He's like, he points out his mistakes, and he goes, "You sat with the fucking champ, and you beat him." It's like, how do you beat somebody? You know how many fucking guys I get because they bluffed me once, they show and they're like, that's fine, let people have stories or whatever, but oh yeah. Oh cool, man. I raised this big blind. He folded. I fucking own Phil Ivey. Full World Series. Here I come.
Did you own him? Did you own Phil Ivey?
No, not on TV. I got him a few times off TV, but I think on TV moments he kind of holds over me. I have to be honest.
To be fair, you also hold over Doyle Brunson.
Yes, fuck Doyle. Goddamn. Yeah, he has no shot against me.
Yeah, that one of the most. I mean, listen, a legendary high stakes poker hand against Doyle, where you called down with the 9 deuce when you raised pre-flop. You took it to the tournament straights where I think you 4x'd pre-flop or made a big raise, and he had, what did he have? Jack, Queen 7 or something like that. Queen 7. The board was 2, 3, 4, 6 Jack, and he bet 6 pot on the river, and you called him down with the bottom pair.
Yeah. It's funny because I played that hand against him, and that's like the biggest call I've ever made. Two of my biggest spots I ever played are against Doyle, and then the other one is when I have a full house with fives against his flush draw on the big game for like 320k. And it's funny because I came. I walked into him a few times, and at the big game, it was actually really nice. I played with him, and then I had that hand, and then there was one hand, and somebody raised, and I squeezed like 4 people with ace king, and it came 10-8-7. And you know, it's one of those moments where you're like, I really should check this, but maybe I'll bet. And then I was like, no, I'm gonna check. And then he bet really small, and it was folded ace king, and he showed it that flopped a straight. And he said to me, I can't fucking believe it. Like I always like you hold over me so much, and now you fold when I flop the nuts. And I was like, it's just too easy to read, man. It's just too simple. Like and he showed me the jack nine. I was like, wow, you always run so good against me, Dole, just fucking flopping a straight and stuff. So we had this thing going back and forth, and then I was in London. That was like 3 years after High Stakes Poker, and I was in London, and the elevator opens, and I see Doyle Brunson, and he just looks at me, and he's like, holy shit, I thought you'd be broke by now. And I said, holy shit, I thought you'd be dead. And then he started laughing like really hard. And it was a really nice moment, actually. It was really funny. He said like, he's like, holy shit, I thought you'd be broke. I was like, holy shit, I thought you'd be dead. And yeah, which is good.
And then did you guys play any more poker at all after that, or was that it?
No, we haven't played. I ran into him in Vegas once again, and he yeah, it's just always nice to see him, whatever. But he keeps like sometimes he just randomly flames me on on Twitter about something, like, you know, he'll just make another broke comment, or you wouldn't last, or the way you played, like whatever, you know.
Damn, Doyle coming for you, bro.
It's all, you know.
He saw you call down with the 9 deuce for 60,000. He's like, that's not a. You're gonna go broke one day, man. Wow. 85-year-old guy taking shots at you on Twitter. This is what it's come to, Lex.
I mean, that's actually like, you know, Doyle's one of those people. If he starts taking shots at you, it's like a nice memory. You know what I mean? It's like a nice moment. It's like I don't know. It's how do you say that? It's I don't know how to say it, but it's just not.
I posted that clip yesterday from the World Series 2009 when you bluffed 5 times in a row, and then you called that guy off inexplicably with the fucking king 4, and he had 7-6 of hearts. And when he asks you at the end, why did you call? Is there ever an answer? You just shrug your shoulder. Why did you call with the king 4 in that hand? It literally makes no sense to this day. You open, call. He 3-bets pretty big, or I can't remember exact action, but he ships it in.
Yeah.
You 3-better. I don't exactly remember the action, but why the hell did you call with the king 4?
Because I knew I just knew he was up to some shit, and I thought it would be a pretty good statement, because there was a few hands at the table. Like they only broadcasted 5, but you know, not to kind of like suck my own dick, but they broadcasted 5 of the bluffs, but I probably made like 20, 25 similar bluffs that day. And I also like, yeah, seriously, like I was all in. I think I put my whole stack in the middle, like at least like 20 times a day. And it was just like they picked those moments. And there was also one guy, I bet called the flop, called turn, called river with ace high, and I showed first, and I was like, GG. And then he mucked, and I was like, I fucking, you know. So I did everything, like also with the showing. I tried to do everything I could to kind of keep the dominance and keep that going to a point where nobody would want to do something against me, because of the cameras, or they were super insecure, or they thought like, well, fuck this, I don't want any part of this. And I was just like, that Simon guy, you know, I thought I 3-bet somebody, and Simon was, and I was like, if there's one guy that's going to make a move on me because I'm 3-betting, it's going to be him. So it's just kind of like, you know, fuck off. I had to invest like 1/6 of my stack. I was like, you know, it's just going to be such a big chance that I'm going to have at least 40%. And it's just, you know, fuck off. So just it's really like a fuck off call. And I also thought that he would be, if he was gone, it would be even easier for me. So I don't know, because he's Schneebler online, right? He was a good player.
Yeah, he was a high stakes pot limit hold'em player. I think maybe played high stakes no hold'em as well too.
Mixed games and limit hold'em. He was really good.
Played everything. I think now he's a StarCraft player, or he used to be StarCraft player. I don't know what he's doing now. Yeah, I'm not sure now.
Yeah.
Yeah, king 4, 53% against 7-6 of hearts. Okay, not bad.
Yeah,
not bad at all. Legendary call, a fuck off call. I'm gonna start adding that to the repertoire. The fuck off call.
Yeah, sometimes it's, you know, it's one of those things that you could sometimes do against a regular, just like once in a while, just call. You don't really have like the margins anymore to do that, but just once in a while, just go like, you know, fuck you.
I feel like me and you play a lot of hands like that where we had the fuck you calls going, fuck you plays.
Remember, I got really.
Didn't matter. Fuck it, keep playing. You know, it's like whatever.
I made one of those calls against you. I remember I got really mad at you one time, like really fucking mad. Like I lost my shit to you, and I immediately like send you a message on Skype, like saying horrible shit. Is
Correct.
when we played a 4K pod on 2-4.
I have that hand in my database as one of the biggest 2-4 hands. Heads up, I believe.
Yeah, and then you said, and I lost the hand, and then you told me, I really don't think you can call a 5-bet with that hand. Without me saying anything, you said that message in the chat, and I was like, you motherfucker, like shut your fucking mouth when you win a pot. You absolute, I'm gonna punch you in the face. Like I just completely lost it.
Yeah, 4K at 2-4. Listen, it was a big pot. It was a deep table. We were battling a little bit. You know, listen, it was good times, man, for sure. I don't have that on this computer. I have it on my other computer, but I will find the hand because I think I'm gonna make a video kind of I saw Lex did a couple cool videos like this where he went over a lot of old school Joey Toxic. Listen, I was a little toxic in the chat, I'm gonna be honest with you, but you live, you learn. I would normally just wish people death, I think, in the chat. Like Yusuf Ahmed, I used to want that guy to fucking perish. Just fucking, you know, whatever. I'm like him now, okay, whatever. I'm gonna
yeah.
Cleaner.
But it's different kind of battling, you know. Like people would just fucking all the time just fucking battle.
Oh, I loved it. It was so great.
I remember, me and Helen go also. I remember him and me and him also just playing the stupidest heads ups. Like we just not want to quit first. We were playing heads up in Vegas online, and our friends wanted to go out, and we just not want the other guy to have like the first sit out because it would just be too much. And we just started just fucking being on a trip with somebody else and just having like 10K swings against each other just because you want to fuck the other guy and you don't want to step down. It's just. Plus, I feel like, you know, that those were back in our like long ass grinds, and you just like, I don't think you have the bounce back when somebody tells you strategic advice after you lose an insane pot, you know.
To be fair, maybe you should have folded that hand. The 5.
I was ace queen 10-8, I believe, with like queen 10 suited or some shit. It was something like that.
Sounds like a hand with reverse implied odds against 5-bet range to me. That deep. What do you think?
That's good, dude. Still makes me mad now.
It happens. You know, listen, we all make plays and we know we do things, and you know, it is what it is. So it's okay. Come to the series this summer. We'll play some play the main event together, Lex. Maybe we'll get the same table.
I don't know. I would love to play the main event. It just doesn't make sense time-wise, you know. Just traveling, and it's also a trip that my girlfriend can't come on. And if I'm gonna go on vacation, I'd rather do it with like, you know, do something other than poker.
Yeah, Landon says, can you ask Lex about his high stakes review YouTube series? Yeah, man, those actually gave me some cool ideas. That's what the point I was trying to make before was that was awesome. Like you kind of went down memory lane, reviewed these old hands you played against guys. Think maybe some Isildur maybe is in some of the hands and all these legends of the game. That was really good. You think about doing more stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean that's like I mean I really want to continue that series, but that's one of the first things I cut when I got those stress attacks and stuff. So because I was just like, Twitch is my platform. I love to grow YouTube. I love to document this stuff. And then Holder Manager crashed, and I have to reinsert like 85 hand history files that I just don't have the patience for right now. And it's just like I just can't spend 2 hours in a week doing YouTube extra in this point. But I do want to continue the series at a certain point because there's like still all those marathon 200, 400 sessions and stuff. They're still in there, you know. So it's not even like the good stuff is all coming still. And but you see so many legendary, you just like hands against Dur, fucking Nazgul, you know, Rekrul, fucking Supernova 9, whoever, you know. Dur, all these like names, old school poker names, just like holy shit.
Can I have you give a shout out while I just go pee real quick?
What do you want me to do?
You have a couple shout outs in you?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead. Give a couple shout outs real quick.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Fuck you guys. What's up? What's up, Only Bets and Nuts? How you doing? Croaks, saw Ruthen in there earlier, of course. Kristerica, MP Adam. Who the fuck was timing out my my homies? Who the fuck was timing out Croaks and Ruthen? Are you crazy? You know how dangerous that is? Ask Lex about the Ajax Barca finals. Good question, Saman. Come on. That's a good question. Yeah, Ajax is gonna win the Champions League this year. You heard it here first. Well, actually, you didn't hear it here first. You heard it first when I fucking announced it after the group stages, motherfuckers. What's Bayern Munich or sorry, what's Messi doing? Hey, Kristen.
Glory be to God.
Oh my God, Barcelona is leading 3-0. Yikes.
Is this Champions League?
Yeah.
Is Juventus still in it? Is that how you say that name?
Who?
The Cristiano Ronaldo team?
Oh, Juventus?
Of Juventus, yeah.
Juventus? Where do you think they're from? Linköping?
I literally have no idea where they're from.
Oh, they're from what? Torino. It's Italy.
Italy, okay. Are they still in it?
No, Ajax knocked them out, which is my team.
Ajax is your team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they're in the Premier League, correct?
All right, stop trying. This is embarrassing. Like, you're saying every fucking thing wrong. Like, why do you keep saying, and they're from there, right? And they're in this league, correct? No, everything is wrong, so please stop.
A Dutch professional football club based in Amsterdam. How the fuck am I supposed to know that?
Well, you don't. That's why you ask and you don't state it.
Nah, I'm going to try to go for it. Man, Joey, please listen. AJ, I don't know. So how do you say their name? Ajax?
Ajax, yeah.
Ajax, okay. Ajax is in the Dutch league. Got it. Okay. And they're facing Tottenham.
Tottenham Hotspur, yeah.
Okay. I don't know how this fucking thing works, man. Go talk basketball or something. Leave the real football outside of it. All right, Stoddard. No problem, brother. We'll go ahead and do that. All right, guys. We're gonna take one or two more questions from the chat, and then we're gonna wrap this bad boy up. We've been clocked in here a few little bit of time. Did we get the number one piece of poker advice, Lex? Number one piece of poker advice for people out there trying to grind more, trying to get after it more, trying to find that motivation more, trying to get a little bit better at poker, an actionable step that they can put into their game today.
I would say for people starting out, poker's at the start. It's not about winning money. It's about getting better and learning to appreciate the game and the depth of it. So watch videos, play free rolls. If you deposit the least you can. Try different games, see what you like best. Don't deposit $100 because that's when it becomes like a race to win the money back. It's also not good for your surroundings because they feel like you're doing something bad, which you are. So start with very little. And if you're already grinding for a while, be honest. Lots to lie about. Lots to lie about to yourself and why you're not progressing, why you're not doing certain things, or why you're losing hands, and it's always somebody else's fucking fault. And just be honest and look at it and try to find people to talk poker about or get coaching.
I like it a lot. Guess, Lex, who do you think I should have on the podcast?
Interesting.
Good question.
Yeah, good question. I don't know. I like the ones like Gareth was good. He's really good.
How do you think I recreate the Garrett podcast? Because I'll talk to you because you're a big content guy and you're real smart about it. So with Garrett, right, we can argue that I provide the platform in some ways and I let him talk and lead him on in some ways. But at the same time, he does all that himself by being that vulnerable and being that thoughtful and being that willing to get that deep into a personal subject and also put it eloquently enough that it can help other people out from hearing him say it. Yeah. But do you think something like that can actually be recreated with other guests if they aren't as mindful or willing to talk about something like depression or something of that nature?
No, I don't think so. Like, yeah, I think that a good follow-up could be like if you want to make like a mini special to talk about somebody else that like maybe it has more of a professional angle into it or something. But I don't know. Maybe that's diversifying too much. But it just is what it is. Like some people fire shots, some people it's just fun and games, some people are funny. Like it's just whatever it is, right? It's just, I mean, I think maybe the only thing you could do is when somebody makes like a strong comeback somewhere, or like you notice that they went through something tough with the post that they make. Talk to them about it. You'll probably get something similar. But
yeah, people that are openly willing to share it publicly.
I mean, the best thing about a podcast like that is that you don't expect it to go that way, right? So just
yeah, especially that one. I knew we would talk about it at some point because we talk about it privately, but I didn't know it would go that direction where it would be this like 35-minute, like pretty like awesome thing that really helps some people's lives out there, sort of thing like that too.
Oh, actually, in the chat, Huckseed, get
Huxley.
him. Huckseed has done so many legendary things that people don't know about, like insane bets, live the life, the Vegas, like the underground life. That guy has so many fucking stories, and he's very open. He's a super interesting guy. Like he's a very I really like Huckseed. He was so nice. Like I was, like how I was playing mixed games. I was trying to like kind of venture out and see what I liked before I found PLO, right? And I just thought to myself, um, how how am I how am I gonna um, find a new game? And I just started playing all these mixed game tournaments. And you sit there playing Deuce to Seven, and you're in a table full of grinders. I'm like, listen, I don't mind playing the 10K, but you guys have to give me something about this game. So every blind level, I get to ask a strategy question, and you guys have to answer me. And if you guys do that, I will play the 10K in 4 days. Just fucking 10K burn money. I was like, I will jump into Bellagio cash games for this game. And everybody stonewalled me. Even if I would just say like, hey, fuck, I forgot the guy's name. I don't mind putting him on blast because he fucking ignored me all tournament. Fuck, I can't remember. All right, sorry. So I was asking like, hey, what should I break that or no? Like, you can entice the game a little bit. You're not gonna lose much if you say, nah, man, you shouldn't break that. It's not like I know when all to use that stuff and whatever. And I was like so turned off by that. Fucking hated that. How did I get to that? There was a point. What did you ask before that?
The question was, Lex.
Huckseed. So then Huckseed, I played a stud at like the most. Oh, it's just disgusting. Like if you ever find yourself in a spot like that, I was playing a limit tournament, and it was Omaha 8 or better and stud 8 or better mix.
Okay.
The most disgusting experience of my poker life. Like it's just the absolute worst to be in that tournament. So I was in there, and then Huckseed sees me, and he walks over, and he's like, "Hey, I see that you've been grinding mixed games, and he's really good at Raz and stud 8 or better and stuff. Like he's one of the best. Then I don't know whatever the fuck he ranks or whatever, but and he just says, if you ever want to come over, we can go over strategy for like a day or two if you're serious about jumping into this game. And he said it's really cool to see new people trying this. I was like, that's one of the only guys that has ever offered me that. Just like to show how nice he is, also from like a poker perspective. On top of that, he's like super social and has done a lot of weird shit in his life. So he'd be a really good guest.
Huckseed, I like it. Chat, I asked for one podcast guest. Some people are naming 15 podcast guests. It's one. I can't do 100 at a time. I can only do 3 maximum a week. I'd probably end up settling for 2. I'll probably end up doing 2 to 3 a week. I think I like this pace of 3 a week.
3 a week is a lot.
I think there's enough people in poker to be able to do it.
Yeah, but it's also about like, I mean, you go from like taking a year off to promising your audience 3 a week. If you do 2 a week, everybody will be super fucking stoked, and then you can ramp it up.
That's true.
I mean, two a week is great. Like you go very deep, they're very long for podcasts. So it's I think you're not doing yourself a favor by doing 3, and not your audience either, because it's about longevity.
Right, that's a good point.
Plus, it'll be nice. Oh, Lane Flack is also a good shout, by the way.
Lane back to back.
Yeah, it's also it's just like, I mean, with the amount of, if you really do research like you do, I look everything up. It's like a full fucking day's work at least, and it's not bad to do a full day's work, of course. And then it might not sound like a lot 3 podcasts, but creating content is just tiring, especially if you have to be like switched on the whole time.
Like this format, you're very on the entire time because 20,000 people plus watch these kind of things like that. So, and they listen to it, and people listen to iTunes, stuff like that. So anything you say will be used against you in the court of public law. So you never want to say things and make you whatever. You always want to try to sound your best and look your best and that sort of thing like that. So that usually takes a lot of mindful thought and focus and
it's and it's also like, it's very annoying when people go to a podcast like this or streams in general or something, and people like pluck one thing out and it's like, oh, Lex one said this or Lex one said that. And then it's like, yeah, I mean, sometimes you also, like, when you're talking about stuff, so much talking, so many words and shit, as sometimes you just kind of get like, a little bit flustered or something, or I don't know, you word something differently than if you would be asked in a vacuum or something.
Right.
But like, that's being that switched on is just insanely draining.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of pace I'm keeping up here. I'm probably do two and then do some supplemental videos kind of on the other side, because I really like editing videos. And my goal was to kind of come back for 4 weeks, do podcast, focus on podcast, build a post-podcast content delivery system in terms of clips and iTunes, and be consistent with that. I think my Instagram is really struggling right now because I'm too focused on Twitter and YouTube, but I think rightfully so, because those are the main platforms I should be focused on right now. And then now start maybe expanding the guests a little bit, kind of get my friends on for the first 4 weeks. And then from there, start maybe branching out a little bit to some more of the high stakes guys, and like the high stakes Nolan Holden guys who I don't know as well. So that's what I'm planning to do in May. And then come June, July, when the World Series is out here, see what happens. See how it goes.
Get Linus Love or something too.
Who?
Linus Love.
Oh, interesting.
Linus Love. That would be like very high on the list of people to hear about.
Well, Lex, I might have some news for you. Maybe there's a chance we might have him on sometime this year. I don't know when this might be, but the word on the street is that we might be getting my man Linus Love, debatably one of the best home players in the entire world at cash games right now on the podcast. So, and he's played some of the most ridiculous hands I've ever seen in my entire life. Him and OT, these guys are just ridiculous.
He's one of those guys where I rarely ever do this, but he's one of those guys where I just wanna look at hand history, scroll through it, not understand anything that's going on, look at the next one, try to find a pattern between those things, and just to be like, holy shit, and just play hands like I've never even fucking considered to do something that certain way. It's like there's a few people who can do that to you. Like Isildur was a big one for me back in the day when he was battling Dur, and then this kid from Triton, Tan Schwen, who was an absolute fucking beast. Insane how good he is at big bad games at like short deck and no limit hold'em, and just seeing him play was just like, wow, this is a whole other level. And Linus Love hands do the same to you. We're just like trying to understand shit. Is this value? Is this a bluff? What the fuck is this anyway?
Who else mentioned Tan Schwen? Can somebody tell me who mentioned Tan Schwen before?
I don't know. I gushed about him a lot, but
I cannot remember. Someone else said this very similar thing about him. They recommended him very highly. It was who was it? Someone tell me in the chat, please, who mentioned Tan Schwen before. I can't remember right now. But Ola Dehe on Twitch says you should focus on all platforms. Just ask Gary Vee. Yeah, Gary Vee also has a team of 15 people working for him too. So when you have a team of 15 people plus working for you, it's a lot easier to focus on continuous content on your YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and everywhere. When you're a one-man show, then it's a little more challenging. You need to allocate your energy a little bit more effectively and figure out where you're getting the most value on your effort from. So, and then build systems in place to be able to expand other platforms. But yeah, it was Goose. Stefan Sondheimer mentioned that. Correct. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's going to be impossible. Like his English is not good enough, but I mean, not for like podcasts, but just to watch out. Like you should see some of the highlights hands he played it. Like so casually, he does it with two. Like there was a situation that they were playing on an app, and somebody at the last Triton in Jeju was mentioning that Tan Schwen came in on the app, and they were playing 12.5K ante, which is really high. But then Tan Schwen just won $2.7 million in 20 minutes, and just fucking laughed at everybody, and then just left. Just these fucking side games there, man. It's just out of this world. It's too crazy.
Are you going to Montenegro?
No.
Okay.
Not anymore. I was gonna go, but Triton announced their partnership with Party, so it wouldn't be really respectful of me to work on an event like that.
Yeah, makes sense. You were at Patrick Antonius' event, First Land of Poker, the inaugural Patrick Antonius Invitational. You commentated on what I'm told is the most out-of-line pot limit Omaha game in the history of pot limit Omaha that I'm going to watch back and create some content about, including allegedly two men French kissing at a table, debatably.
Yeah. If you want, I can send you the raw file.
Without what's the raw file contain? Is there no commentary?
It's not my. Technically it's my content, but I don't know.
Oh, okay. Are you commentating still on it though?
Well, yes.
Yeah, because that helps out a lot. Because you do a good job commentating, so it's
nice. Okay,
you're a professional, kid.
Well, I can send you the file that we uploaded to YouTube, so you have it HD.
Yeah, I want to go over some hands. Patrick, I found out he messaged me on WhatsApp, but I didn't see it before the event happened. But he invited me out there and stuff like that. I talked to him in PCA about it as well. So I was a little disappointed I wasn't able to get out there and support for that. But I don't even know if I would have been able to go anyway, regardless. So that kind of
I don't know. It's fucking crazy. Like I was talking to production while I was doing the event, and I was like, "Yo, guys, this is getting like really fucking crazy." You know, and then Patrick, I talked to Patrick. Patrick like, "Dude, this is fine. Like this is just the way we play poker and stuff. It's just like there's absolutely nothing wrong." And you know, like some people in the chat were saying like, "Oh, these guys are getting really drunk. Why are we shooting this or watching this?" But it isn't like that. Like these guys said beforehand, "Oh yeah, you're gonna show people like how you play a true drinking game." They did like 20 shots of vodka. 20 shots, dude. I could not stand for that. I mean, some of those guys couldn't either, but and then everybody was just having fun laughing at each other. Like this is just, you know, this is just a way. Like the Finnish guys, man, it's fucking something else. They're a special breed. It's I don't know. They don't give a fuck.
Well, I'm excited to watch it, guys, because I haven't seen it yet. So I'm gonna take a look at it. I'm gonna watch some of the hands, watch the event back, kind of see what I missed, because there's a lot of content going on out there in poker, especially more live streams and vlogs and cash games and 6-hour cash games and stuff like that. So there's so much content out there to try to find through that.
Yeah, it's very tough. I don't know. I think Instagram is a good one to kind of scout content because people will post the highlights for you. But like, there's so much content. Like, I don't even watch anything anymore. You know, there's some people I like to check out, but I think I said it to you when we started the pod today. I just don't do that anymore. But at the same time, I watch like 2 hours of Dota every day while I'm working or something. So I guess I do. I just watch different content. You know.
Right. Well, guys, that's it. We're going to wrap it up. You want to follow Lex? It's at Lex Veldhuis on Twitter and on Instagram as well, too. He also streams regularly over on Twitch at, this is going to surprise you, Lex Veldhuis. Actually, wait, it's Razzie on Twitter. I lied.
Yeah, but if you're looking for my name, you'll find me. Like, I'm trying to, I want to change it on Twitter, too.
Well, if you want to find him out there, go support him. Check it out. Let us know what you thought about the podcast in the comment section below. Make sure you smash that like button. Punch that mother in the face like the guy behind you shook your seat when you woke up and you're sleeping. Punch it in the face like you'd punch that guy in the face at the airport. Shove that like button out of the way like you would if you were at the conveyor belt and your bag was in front of you and the person wouldn't move and you asked them fucking nicely and you got shoved through people out of the way sometimes like Lex does, all right? Shove that button out of the way. That's it. Lex, I appreciate you coming on, buddy. Always great to talk to you. Great to get some insight out there. And guys in the chat, all the comments are awesome. Everything's awesome. It's a lot of fun to be back. I really appreciate it. Landon, you're the man, brother, with the moderator group. I know moderators really matter a lot. Lex has a great team of moderators. And we got Jammin out there. Jammin. We jammin', baby. Let's get it, jammin'. It's fucking Jammin, Joey. Calm down, all right? Stop disrespecting the name. I got it. That's it, guys. On Lex's audience on Twitch, you guys are fucking awesome, man. Gush Terrica, Croaks, PKR, Kimapa. I don't recognize names. I'm assuming you guys come from Lex. Extempore, Stott God, I can't say these names. Hush 05. Buttfarm, I recognize you, of course. John Blaze, recognize you. Only Bet the Nuts. I'm assuming you're going to be a man from Lex's chat as well, too. K-Bomb 007. Much love. Salah Allah. I can't even say that name. I'm sorry. I just can't. I don't know how to say his names. That's it, guys. Peace out. Much love. Take care. That's it.